Salutations! Welcome to Pod Mortem. I'm Travis Hunter, joined as always by my co-hosts, my sister and my brother-in-law.
Hi, Reneé Hunter Vasquez.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
This week, we're broadcasting live from underneath a water treatment plant discussing the 1990 crime horror film, The First Power. This film was written and directed by Robert Resnikoff. Drawing inspiration from true crime cases and the occult, The First Power provides a thrilling police procedural with a supernatural twist. While the film received negative reviews from critics, it would go on to become a financial success, earning twice its budget at the box office. So, The First Power. What were your first impressions on the film?
I remember watching this as a kid and loving it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I completely understood everything that was going on because I was really small, but I know a lot of rewatching it for the show. A lot of what I remembered was exactly how I remembered it in the movie. So that means this movie imprinted those images into my mind from so long ago, and I still remember them like exactly as when I was a kid. Like, this movie, I enjoyed the shit out of this movie.
So a ton of nostalgia?
Oh yeah.
I had never, honestly, I was going to say I've never seen it. I'd never even heard of it before you were like, we need to cover this.
Yeah.
I feel like, because we read the IMDb synopsis, right?
Yeah.
And so I was expecting something, I would say, a lot darker than what we got, because
There's
there are moments of this that are hilarious.
Well, yeah.
And I've seen a lot of like mixed reception of this. Like, some people really, really love it, and some people think that it's trash.
Right.
I think that for what it is, it's a really good time. I did have a lot of fun watching it. How much fun was intended, I truly can't say.
All of it.
But I did have a fun time. Is this like, quote unquote elevated horror or anything like that? Absolutely not.
No.
It's just a fucking good time with some extremely committed performances.
That is fair.
And
Wow.
I had fun. I watched it alone and I laughed out loud several times.
Well, I'm glad.
Again, whether or not it was intentional, I couldn't say, but I did have a good time.
I had fun as well. I don't know, again, if it was meant for me to.
It doesn't matter.
Because there are some very interesting edits, we'll say. Choices made that make you see things that you probably shouldn't. But
Right.
I had never heard of this one either.
Yeah.
Until you mentioned it. I had talked to mom and dad about it.
Right.
Apparently, they watched it a ton of times in the 90s. And
where were we?
I don't know. Sleeping, I guess. I don't know. Because I never even knew this movie existed.
Yeah.
No.
And I like Lou Diamond Phillips a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's a very kind of underrated actor.
Right.
Yeah.
There was that segment. I know you remember the TV show Night Visions.
Right.
He had the greatest segment,
Absolutely.
bar none.
Yeah.
Where he was the DJ.
Yeah. It's on YouTube. It's called Dead Air.
It's so good.
I still think it's good.
Yeah.
But I think my thing about it, and I said they watched it in the 90s, it is so 90s.
Oh yeah.
It is like,
yeah.
and that's for good and bad, whichever, it is aggressively so. It's just so, it's a strange film. I think because I'll say this, for probably like the first third of it, I'm like, you've got me.
Yeah.
Well,
I am so here.
I feel like that was more in line with what I'm not going to speak for everyone, for what I was expecting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking this was going to be 7.
Yes.
But make it Satan.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I
No.
was expecting.
Like a
And
gritty.
That's not really,
Yeah.
that's not really what this is.
They went
This
a
is
different way with it.
this is
Yeah.
It's like
It's B horror.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah. It's like half action film, half like I really don't know.
No. Well, the thing for me is that it seemed like they were doing that gritty
Yeah.
thing at the beginning, and then towards like the middle of the film, they're like, "Hey, what if we?" You're just like, "Oh, okay." And it's so weird because I read there was an interview with Jeff Kober in Horror Geek Life, and he had said that Resnikoff did a ton of research on the occult. He did a ton of research on Richard Ramirez, who was clearly an influence on this. And I was like, And then the interviewer said, how did, that you maintain such a dark tone throughout the entire film? And I'm like, did they? I remember laughing a lot.
Someone turned on a lamp. I'm not gonna say
Towards like halfway, they're like, and Jeff Kober even said, he's like, he kind of made it seem like he thinks that this film, or at least the filmmaking journey, might have been cursed.
What?
Yeah, he's like talking about different things. I'll bring up one thing later, but he had said that he goes, the methods that we used to make this film, we would not use today. I'm like, what did you do?
Please go into detail.
Yeah.
That's funny because I saw an interview with Lou Diamond Phillips where he still wants to make a sequel to this.
Yes, and I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, this seems like they had a blast making it.
Yeah.
That's one thing that really like boggles the mind, is that there is surprisingly little to find about this film.
Yeah.
And even the director, I couldn't even find a picture of the guy.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
This is the only film he ever directed too.
Yeah,
This
and
was
then
his first and last.
After this, there was nothing. Like
Maybe he
was
was cursed.
crazy.
Maybe he's like, I think I tapped into something. Now, before we carve a pentagram into this film, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Pod Mortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, let's resurrect an evil spirit. So the film begins with white opening text on a black background, and we get the title, The First Power. As the credits continue, eerie music accompanies red slashes on the left side of the screen that one by one form the shape of a slowly rotating pentagram. Amongst whispers, for some reason, we get the title again, The First Power.
Let me tell you how I should have known what kind of movie this was going to be from this.
From jump?
Well, the slow, dramatic reveal of the pentagram that we all saw coming.
Yeah, we knew it was gonna,
But still, when they put the last line, it's like, ka-chung!
Yeah.
We should have known.
Well, it started with like the slashes, and then it was the letter A. I was like, A? Yeah. the devil.
Got it.
I really dig the music here. It was done by Stuart Copeland, the drummer for the Police.
Oh, nice.
And I think he did a great job on the score.
Yeah.
There is one sound that reminds me of like the weird noise that Jordy Verrill heard in his fantasies on Creepshow. It's like that like thing. I'm like, this is,
it's like weirdly playful.
Yeah. Which we should have fucking known.
Yeah, exactly.
But we fade in from black to find Sister Marguerite, played by Elizabeth Arlen, quoting from the Book of Revelations. The beast that descended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them, and their bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city. The camera sweeps around her to reveal that she's in the cardinal's office. The Monsignor, played by David Gale, tells her that they're all aware of the Book of Revelations and that you can twist those words to mean anything.
The way he's like, bitch, we know.
Yeah.
First, do you remember the movie The Life of David Gale?
I do.
Kevin Spacey's trash, but I used to fucking love that movie. Laura Linney.
Yeah, Laura Linney's great. The movie's not great.
Disagree. But anyway, the way that they're receiving this information, like they don't have collars around their neck.
Yeah, I was very confused by their reaction to this.
They're like, oh, calm down.
Like, whatever. We made that up. Right? I was like, oh my God. Be a little too real. Of course, I have to call out, fun fact, David Gale was in Reanimator with my wife, Barbara Crampton.
All right.
So I appreciate seeing him here. I think this is the only time we see him here in this film.
There are some, like, surprising cameos.
Yeah. I was like, who are they friends with? Like, calm down. One day. But the Cardinal, played by Philip Abbott, and Father Brian, played by Hansford Rowe, just sit and listen as Sister Marguerite says that here in Los Angeles, 15 people have been ritualistically killed and cult violence is on the rise in the United States. She says it's all signs of the devil's work. The Monsignor, however, says that it's a sign of the times. He's like, it's the 20th century? It's like, what is going on? It's like, why is no one taking this seriously? Father Brian, though, says that they shouldn't be mentioning Satan in polite company. I'm like, Satan keeps the lights on this place.
Okay. I'm like, you guys love sensationalist devil shit. Like, why are you acting like
You're aware of the satanic panic, correct? Like, that's
y'all love it.
Yeah. But Sister Marguerite says that the devil's power is growing. All of the corpses were marked with inverted pentagrams, which is kind of a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Right.
But the cardinal, growing uneasy, puts an end to the meeting, telling Sister Marguerite that they appreciate her passion and belief, but the last thing the church needs is to cause another satanic panic. He says if they continue, they might end up on Geraldo.
Yeah.
Which is
We're
very
gonna be
current.
In the vault with Geraldo.
No.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, y'all didn't even care about dating this. Okay, that's fine.
No, yeah.
The way he's like, Lisa, you're scaring your mother. He's like, let's stop talking
He's
about
like,
this.
let's keep this sophisticated. But I think that's what's so confusing to me is that she's raising a real concern.
Right.
And I think that 15 bodies carved with pentagrams, if you're the Catholic Church, kind of a cause for concern.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they want to sweep it under. They're like, we don't attach it to us.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
that's true. Like we got the wine and the crackers. Let's
That's our thing.
let's stick to that.
It's like, but this is a problem. No.
Is it though? Giving her the Thor face.
Yeah.
But he tells her to return to her convent and think less about the devil and more about Jesus Christ.
And a little guilt to boot.
Yeah.
Just sprinkle some guilt on there.
And he ends with a jab. He tells her that she should especially meditate on the virtue of humility. And she's like, yes, thank you. And then she leaves.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, humility, that's mean.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't even apply here.
Not really, because it's not like she's like, I am the second coming.
Yeah, no.
She's just trying to warn you guys, but okay.
She's asking for help.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're like, shut up.
I wonder, because I know this happens a lot in horror movies where like the higher ups, a priest or a nun or someone will come and trying to warn somebody or an ally of the church, and they're like, you're fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Go away. And it's like, dude, they're warning you. They're trying to, I thought they were your friend.
Well, my thing is like, isn't this the whole thing that y'all preach about?
Yeah.
So like the fact that she's like, hey, the thing that we're all afraid of happening is happening.
It's here. Yeah.
Hey, look, there's a lot of things in that book.
Yeah.
But of course, with this warning, as you're saying, I'm sure it won't amount to anything.
Yeah.
Definitely.
They're probably right.
Yeah.
But in a dimly lit apartment, an adorable cat enjoys some old pizza scraps as Detective Russell Logan, played by Lou Diamond Phillips, consults a map connecting lines on it before crumpling it up and throwing it in the direction of the adorable cat who runs off.
Yeah. My first thought is that cat better be the final girl.
Yes.
And also, it's probably going to get diarrhea from eating that pizza.
Well, yeah, or acid reflux.
I mean, either way.
If that's any indication.
Logan's going to have a mess to clean up.
Yeah. But the phone rings and Logan picks it up. The woman on the other end is Tess Seaton, played by Tracy Griffith. So Tracy Griffith is Melanie Griffith's half-sister.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Which means that she is Dakota Johnson's half-aunt.
Yeah.
I just love Dakota Johnson, so I had to
shoehorn
her in. She's actually not related at all. No, I'm just kidding. She is related.
And she's Tippy
Hedren's great
half daughter,
granddaughter. But Tess tells him that she knows where the killer is going to strike next. Logan initially isn't down for it, but she shares that the marks that are found on the victims are always 6 inches in diameter, and the wound is always at the center of the body. Logan starts listening. But she has one condition: no killing and no death penalty, and she won't continue until he swears. He does, and he asks her name, but she instead gives him an address. Near Sunset Boulevard, the south entrance to Elysian Park.
I would tell her that she's grossly overestimating my capacity as a detective on the case, because I'm not the one that seeks the death penalty.
Oh, no. That's true.
But I swear,
yeah,
I promise.
I mean, I'm not in control of that. Whatever gets the info,
I'm like,
I
you
guess.
should know better than that. The detective's not like, oh, kill him. That's not how
By
it
the
goes.
way, 40 years. It's like, what? You have no bearing. But she also gives him a time. Well, kind of. She says, soon. Like, I don't know what your concept of soon is. Is that a week? Is that tonight? But she tells him not to forget his promise and hangs up on him. So I do want to say that I love the way that this scene is lit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
On both ends of the phone. It's very almost noir.
Especially her.
Yeah. You got like a beautiful woman and a detective. It's like Noir City. Mm-hmm. I wanted more of this, but they kind of abandoned it.
No, this is it. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit.
Yes, ma'am. But Logan marks the spot on a map of Los Angeles and slowly connects the marks with the ones that he previously made. When he joins them together, they form an inverted pentagram, and he looks up kind of like, son of a bitch.
This made me chuckle a little bit because I feel like you could have figured that out on your own.
Oh, yeah.
Because all of the other points were there. I don't think you needed a psychic
one point.
to find out where he was going to strike next.
Could have made an educated guess.
I'm just saying.
It's going to be in Los Santos or whatever. But we cut to surveillance of an undercover operation through the lens of binoculars and find an undercover detective played by Brian Libby lying on the ground covered in newspapers. You might remember Brian Libby from The Mist.
Yes.
And he was also in Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
yes,
nice.
I knew I recognized him, but I didn't even look it up.
Yeah, well, he's barely in this.
There's just a lot of people in this where I'm like, I know you, and they're in it literally for one scene.
There's one actor that's in this that's been in like 30 things I've seen that I was very surprised to see him in.
Yeah.
But we'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the undercover officer speaks into an earpiece, saying that he's seen nothing on his end and that even a psycho killer is smart enough to stay out of the rain. The binoculars sweep to a nearby car where another undercover detective is pretending to make out with a blow-up doll.
I feel like he didn't need to bring an actual blow-up doll.
Well, probably not.
Yeah.
I feel like you really went above and beyond.
Well, the guy on the radio is like, how are my lovebirds doing? And he's like, fuck you.
Well, he had the boob out. It looked like he was into it. I was like, you didn't have to do all that.
That was extra credit.
Yeah,
like, you brought that from
he's
home.
Like, I need them to believe I'm getting to third base. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
No one will be attacked tonight.
No.
This has got to be
But
perfect.
that's an undercover cop. But the binoculars then check out the ass of Detective Carmen, played by Sue Giosa. Detective Mazza, played by Clayton Landy, he's the man with the binoculars. Mm-hmm. He's watching from a rooftop, and he promptly hits on Carmen, who blows him off. Elsewhere, Logan sits passenger in a car with Detective Oliver Franklin, played by McKelty Williamson.
Yeah.
Bubba.
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize him at first because he really commits to being Bubba.
He does.
I literally was like, oh shit.
The funny thing is that when I saw him, I recognized him he's in Heat with Pacino and De Niro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's in Con Air.
Yeah,
he is in Con Air.
Yeah.
He's in, I don't know if you've seen Purge Election Year. He plays a big role.
All right.
But then I looked on IMDb and I'm like, he's Bubba?
Yeah.
I was so shocked.
Yeah.
So shocked. But after getting in all positions clear on the radio, Ollie says that it's been 3 nights of this shit and everyone is burned out. His theory is that the woman on the phone is the killer's girlfriend trying to set them up.
I mean, that's not a bad theory, honestly. Or to deflect their resources to this area while he's doing something else. I mean, that's a smart theory.
It is.
Right.
And honestly, I mean, you're falling, what is it, hook, line, and sinker?
Yeah.
If you're like, okay,
You
all
got a boss.
cops in this area.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
No kind of time frame.
It's like, we got your blow-up doll, we need to meet. But Logan disagrees and says that the killer will eventually show himself, which Ollie doesn't agree with. As Ollie fiddles with his religious medallion necklace, Logan says that the problem is all of this occult mumbo-jumbo has spooked Ollie into thinking that the killer is some kind of boogeyman or the Ku Klux Klan, which very, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was annoying because you would not have said that if he wasn't black.
No, he wouldn't.
I'm just saying.
Ollie laughs it off with a fuck you, and I was like, yeah, fuck you.
No, but seriously.
But Logan reminds him that it's fuck you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your superior. But I will say I like that they have a playful relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
It went oddly racial.
It did. It's 1990.
Exactly.
I mean, fuck.
This is the best we can hope for.
Yes.
But on her beat, Carmen continues walking until she hears an odd noise and the clinking of glass bottles. She walks into an alley where she kneels down when she spots a stray gray cat. I'm like, there's 2 cats already.
Yeah, and I get it because the cat would be my undoing as well.
Absolutely. And that's what I was afraid of. I was like, please don't let her get got.
Yeah.
Because this is me.
Yeah.
But as she smiles and reaches out a hand to pet it, a man steps behind her with a pentagram carved into his hand. He grabs her, putting a chloroformed rag on her face as she screams.
So I know you already mentioned it, but Richard Ramirez as fuck.
Yes.
With the pentagram in his hand. I was like, okay, I see what we're doing here.
Absolutely.
Also, though, they were just watching her.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess she went off the beaten path for the cat, but
Yeah.
nobody's like, hey, Carmen, like,
I guess not. Well,
that kind of annoyed me.
I think Maz is like, well, let's check in on that blow up doll again.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, where the fuck's Carmen?
See how far he got with that blow.
Yeah. Have they reached home? Or?
It's the love story of our generation,
Exactly.
honestly.
This is a romantic crime horror film. But elsewhere, police sirens wail to get the attention of Logan and Ollie, who pull up alongside of them to see what's going on. Logan steps out of the car, and as soon as he steps out of the car, he's got like Dennis Reynolds' duster.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh man.
It's a character of itself.
Yes. It's like, so he's a bad boy detective.
Yeah.
But he meets up with Commander Perkins, played by Dennis Lipscomb, and Lieutenant Grimes, played by Carmen Argenziano. Perkins wants to pull the plug on the whole operation, reminding Logan that he only asked for 72 hours, which he gave to him, but nothing happened.
I'll be honest. The tip that he's gotten,
Yes.
the fact that it has not been vetted,
No.
they've been given no time frame other than soon.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he got 72 hours. Like,
Honestly.
you should really be
Nicole,
grateful.
Yeah. So I'm imagining at this point, Logan is lead on this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because otherwise, I mean...
Yeah.
But even then, if your only tip is this, I guess you have to go for it.
Right.
But 72 hours
That's
of
a
all
long
these cops here.
Yeah.
That's a long
time.
That is, yeah.
But Grimes is a little more coarse, calling the whole thing a fucking jerk-off. Logan says that the location fits the pentagram pattern on the map, and that his informant said this is where it's going to happen next.
To be fair, it's not a jerk off for all of us. It's just a jerk off for the guy with the blow.
Yeah.
Like, no, but
Some of us
seriously,
are really working.
there's a lot of complaints. But Perkins says that they can't risk it with so many cops here right now. Like you said, what if the killer hits the west side tonight? But just then, Ollie leans his head out of the window to tell them that they've lost contact with Carmen around Parkside north of Sunset Boulevard. There's an eerie music cue because this is exactly what Tess said. Mm-hmm. Logan rushes back to the car and they speed off. Grimes tries to set Perkins' mind at ease, saying that Carmen is probably just taking a piss.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Sure, guy.
Yeah. He's like, don't worry.
That's the likeliest.
Yeah.
She had a lot of Gatorade. It's like, what? But at an undisclosed location, we see the pentagram killer arranging and lighting candles around a bound and gagged Carmen. He turns around to reveal a mask that looks like an old man's face. I don't get closure on this in this film.
Yeah.
But I have a theory
Okay. Oh.
that we can talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
I think I might be able to think of what your theory is, and I'm glad that you have a theory because I feel like the mask was very sometimes
Like, yeah, well,
there was no commitment
no.
to this mask.
It's really not. He's just doing his own thing with it. You usually think in slasher films like the mask.
That's the
Yes.
identity.
Right.
Yeah.
You either that becomes who they are, or it's used to hide their identity.
Yeah.
Nah.
But
But the pentagram killer says, "Heaven in art, which Father our," which is a reversal of the Lord's Prayer. This is very prevalent in a lot of satanic sects,
Right.
where a lot of it is really just the reversal of Christianity.
it's a mockery.
Yeah.
And also that one episode of American Dad. For me though, I was like, that's harder than saying your ABCs backwards.
No shit.
Yeah.
You gotta fucking practice.
Yeah.
I was kind of impressed.
I can
Yeah.
actually do the ABCs backward like very well.
Good
but
for you.
It doesn't matter.
Do
here.
it. No, just kidding.
Can't say the
mean,
ABCs
you put me on
the
the
right way.
Yeah. Okay. A. Hold on. Honestly, that's really not fair for sobriety because I had to practice the shit out of that to learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like nobody just has that. Oh, ZYX. Like, come on, dude. Nobody fucking has that. But Carmen looks at him fearfully as he removes his mask, and we see that he is Patrick Channing, played by Jeff Kober.
I was like, oh, him.
Yeah.
He's been in so much shit.
He
I was
has.
surprised to see him.
And again, another underrated actor.
Yeah,
For
oh,
sure.
yeah.
I remember him being, he was Now, it's been a long time since I've seen the show, but he was a fucking asshole on Sons of Anarchy, right?
I think he's a fucking asshole on everything.
Oh, okay. Because he was on The Walking Dead.
Yeah. He's never like a nice guy.
Yeah.
No.
But he does it very well.
Oh, yeah.
I was also scared, though, that he was taking his mask off immediately because we all know what that means.
Right.
We've learned not good.
Yeah.
No.
And again, like we were saying, he's like, nah, I don't need this. Now, I had seen this rumor a lot on the internet, and I had to confirm it.
Right.
But according to a biography written by Ian Johnston, Nick Cave auditioned for this role.
Yeah.
And that is surprising.
Yeah.
But from what I read in the biography, Nick Cave didn't like the script, but he was offered an audition. And at the audition, he told them straight up, he's like, look, things are starting to take off for my music career. I really don't care if I get this. And he said that he kind of didn't do a good job anyway. But it was very funny to me because after he watched it, he said that he was glad that he didn't get it. Because he said there's like an aura of like mystery and kind of like a darkness around Nick Cave. And especially at this time, like 1990 was when The Good Son came out. So there wasn't even, Red Right Hand was 4 years out.
Right.
And so he said that if he had done this movie, it probably would have ruined his career. And this moment here with the Pentagram Killer, I don't think it would. But moments later, if you see Nick Cave doing some of this shit, that aura is gone.
I was going to say, it gets a little silly at times. I was going to say, first of all, I think that Jeff Kober was perfect.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
In this role. Nick Cave, I think, would have brought an entirely different energy. I don't think this would have been the same character at all.
No.
And I mean, obviously we don't see it right now, but there is a playfulness. There's two sides to this character. And I can see Nick Cave pulling off one side very well.
Yeah.
I think that it would be more of that than what we end up getting in this. But for what this the purpose that this character is meant to serve, I think Jeff Kober, it could not have been better cast.
No. Yeah.
And I do think that it's good Nick Cave didn't get this.
It's very
good. But Channing shushes her, telling her that it's okay and that he doesn't want her to be afraid. Meanwhile, cops race down the street and meet up at Carmen's last known location, where they surmise that she was pulled into a car. The undercover cop who was under the newspapers points Logan and Ollie to the entrance of the park, which he says is locked, but they head out anyway.
I'm just like, what were all of y'all here for?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
what were you doing?
have this man laying in the wet grass. This dude's fucking a blow up doll in the car. Like, what are
It's like we're going very far on this.
what are we all here for? If one of our officers can just be plucked up like this, like, this is crazy. You're all fired.
And
like,
seriously,
this is nuts.
Anytime, that's another thing that makes me laugh is that anytime you see the cops around, there's like 5-6 police cars.
Yeah.
So it's like, you've got a presence.
There's a lot of y'all.
So what is going on? And fucking Maz is on the rooftop. He should have a bird's eye view.
That's what I'm saying.
They snatched Carmen. Like, no? All right. But once they reach the entrance to the park, Logan gets out of the car and seemingly pushes the gate open without any resistance, but with a ton of frustration that it isn't locked. But Logan hops back into the car and they speed off. Back in his little lair, Channing tells Carmen that they're going to go through a very small door. He points at her forehead, so I'm assuming it's the third eye.
Yeah.
But he says that they're going to go through backwards, which is why he spoke the prayer backwards. He asks if she understands, and she nods. I mean, there's little to not understand.
Yeah.
I mean, the going through the third eye thing is a little complicated.
It is.
But
just say yes.
Yeah.
Just say, uh-huh.
I love that he repeats himself. He's like, heaven and art. Do you remember?
That's why I was doing
did it backwards. It's like, dude, come on. You're killing this woman. You don't have to fucking spell it out. But Logan and Ollie pull up on a parked car and they split up in search of Carmen, guns drawn. Ollie takes the road as Logan climbs down and slinks his way through a large stone structure. He kicks his way through a fence and walks up a staircase behind it. Ollie, meanwhile, hears Carmen whimpering and hops a fence to investigate the sound. Channing, fearing that she might have just blown up his spot, shushes Carmen and places his mask over her face as she cries. He tells her it's all right, but the music grows tense as he pulls out a large knife and drags it across her chest. But as soon as he goes to cut open her bra, he hears Ollie sneaking around outside. Somehow, he gets the drop on Ollie and pulls him into his little lair, slamming him into a wall and getting on top of him with the knife. Before he can bring it down, though, he stops when he hears Logan approaching fast. Logan is fucking doing parkour.
Yeah.
It's like he has like a monitor. He's like, oh, he's in danger. And fucking, it's unbelievable. Because he really has no way to know this.
No.
But the two meet, smashing into each other and tumbling down into the dirt outside. In the struggle, Channing stabs Logan in the shoulder, but then is immediately kicked in the face and then just takes off.
Immediately.
Yes.
This is what I'm like, and this is a recurring theme in this film for me. What training did Logan go through?
Very quick training.
I think the answer is no training.
Okay.
His hand-to-hand combat. His shooting, which we will get to.
Oh my God.
He was first in his class at parkour.
Yeah.
that's all I got. He really focused on the one thing.
He's wearing a fucking GoPro. And I say that he was stabbed. I had to rewind it like several times.
Yeah.
Because it looks like he stabs above his shoulder.
Yeah.
But then you hear him go, ah! And so I'm like, is this
Did you get stabbed?
bad camera placement or what am I doing?
He got scared. It startled
Yeah,
him.
it's like, oh my God. I'd be screaming too.
My thing is I really thought that this was going to, again, 7, but make it Satan. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought
there was
too.
going to be some like cat and mouse, like him sending Carmen's fingers to the police station or something. But it's like, oh, we're already interacting. Like they caught up with him immediately. This is like 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
I was just extremely surprised that the film was moving.
We got a story to
so
tell.
quickly.
Yeah,
we
come on.
We're not
Get to
wasting
it.
any time.
Yeah, we gotta go.
I think that's one thing that I realized, and there's a point that I'm like, man, they're really rushing through this whole But Logan rushes after him, firing. He is seemingly missing every shot.
Yes.
Every single shot.
However, after reaching the bottom of the staircase, Logan finds and follows a trail of blood. So I guess he did hit him at least once.
I don't know. Or maybe he scraped his knee when they were wrestling.
I mean, he's like, I'm not as good at parkour as this dude. He also touches the blood for some reason, I guess.
That was funny to me because it's like still warm. You know what I mean? Like we know.
There's
just
still
run.
time. He was just here. Like,
just run.
It's shiny, dude. Like it's not. But the blood trail leads inside of a factory, so Logan cautiously heads inside. He does hold his gun like an action hero, which is very funny to me. I don't know if that's protocol.
Always.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion, police protocol really took a backseat to the story.
Yeah.
That's fair.
They were like, no, we're taking you on a journey. Don't look too close. Like, I think that's the rule.
I did read an interview with Lou Diamond Phillips. It was some sci-fi online blog.
Yeah.
But he had said that whenever they did the first Power, Bob Grogan, who helped solve the Hillside Strangler case,
Oh, shit.
was a technical advisor for the film.
Okay.
When
So I was like, did he tell you to hold your gun like that?
he was just like, this film's really cool, you guys.
He's like, yeah, and then he fucking did a backflip. I mean, we'll get to that. But
How did I catch him? A lot of parkour.
Yeah, I fucking vaulted myself over the. But Logan hears Channing taunting him with "Piggy, Piggy." He continues on slowly, but is almost crushed when Channing pushes a stack of metal from a high shelf on top of him. Logan fires up at him and then climbs up to pursue him. In the dark, he fires at movement, stalking the shelves but coming up empty. As he rounds the corner, Channing appears behind a stack of large cans. Logan tries to fire, but he's empty, so he just throws his gun. And he misses.
And he still misses him. That's
Jeez.
hilarious.
Yeah.
There is some really, really good tense music here.
Yes, I will
but
agree.
it's kind of broken when he's like, yeah, and just goes again. That's hilarious.
That was, again, that's when I should have been like, wait a minute. But again, I'm still 100% on board.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Paul's like, I'm never off board.
Yeah, it's true. I'll let you know when I'm like, okay, let's calm down. But when tossing the gun fails, he just tackles Channing through a window, crashing through glass and down a couple of floors to a pile of wooden pallets outside. Once on the ground, Channing stabs Logan in the gut like twice. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Somehow, the fight continues after this, Logan getting the upper hand and slamming Channing's head onto the asphalt, cursing him out and asking him how it feels. I'm like, stop, he's already dead.
I was like, police brutality?
Yeah, well, dude, it's bad enough because he's bashing his head, but he's like, you motherfucker! I'm like, oh my God.
I'd be a little upset if I got stabbed a couple of
That
times.
is true.
Yeah.
That's really
Or
the
is he
gut
fighting
pain.
the strength?
Yeah, the gut pain is driving most of us. But just then, several cops who probably heard the sound of Channing's skull on the concrete, they pull up in their cruisers, they pull open a fence and drag Logan off of Channing. He's knocked out cold.
Yeah.
Which, of course.
No, yeah.
Well, those extensive head injuries.
But they check his pulse, but then this is when they notice Logan's bleeding wound and call for an ambulance. Later that day, this surprised me.
Yeah.
An anchor woman, played by Lisa Specht, shares the news that Logan has been taken off of the critical list after the incident this morning.
He's fucking
I was
Wolverine.
like, oh my
man.
God. But, okay, she also states that this is the third serial killer in less than 5 years that Logan has been responsible for the death or capture of.
I really feel like she buried the lead with causing the death of.
Yeah. Like, no,
I
he's
was like,
killed
wait,
a lot of them.
Wait, what?
And, dude, 3 serial killers in less than 5 years. That seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, what is it? There's like 20 or it's like 40 to 50 operating at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
But for this one guy to be responsible for, what's that, like 12%? But, I mean, if this is true, then that nun is right.
Right.
Like, shit's going crazy in LA.
Yeah.
And they're just like, whatever.
Shut up, science bitch.
But on the scene, reporter number 1, played by Andrew Amador, says that coworkers describe the alleged pentagram killer, Patrick Channing, an employee of the Department of Water and Power, as quiet, solitary, and good at his job.
Of course.
Nobody's ever like,
Yeah,
I
usually.
knew.
Yeah.
No, that guy fucking knew it.
Yeah. That's what makes me laugh about like the Zodiac case when they interview that guy that knew Arthur Lee Allen.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, no, he said, I'm going to call myself the Zodiac. Like, you never hear stories like that. It's always like, no, he was quiet. He was the best neighbor I've ever had.
Yeah.
He brought me like cheese and,
Yeah.
you know. But the detectives search his locker and work area, grossed out that he had anything to do with the water supply, and swearing to stick to bottled water from now on. That seemed childish to me.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I was like, "What? He's not pissing him? Like,
Yeah.
he's, well, maybe. I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know what
He's
he
out
likes.
here killing folks."
And when they opened the thing, the water looked like blood. I was
Yeah.
like,
Did
who was that for? Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, not like red blood, but it looked tinged.
Yeah.
who's that for? Dracula? I don't know.
Supposed to be like, my God, the
Yeah.
water supply. I don't know.
Well, he's a serial killer.
You know what that
Yeah.
makes me think of?
Huh.
And what we should cover at some point? Dreamcatcher.
Oh my
No.
God. I thought you were gonna say it reminds you of Lethal Weapon 5 or whatever. When Charlie's like, someone tapped the water supply.
That too.
There's a lot of references here,
Yeah.
I guess. But I think that it is possible. I mean, maybe, what is it with the compartmentalization?
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll show up, I'll do my job, but the nights are mine.
Yeah.
For the most part, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because to be able to get to the serial status and not just killer,
Yeah.
you have to, blend in. You
Otherwise-
can't be running around talking about killing people, or else you're gonna fucking get caught.
You'll get like one. But sometime later, we see Logan arriving at the courthouse. Reporters ask him if he thinks Channing will get the death penalty, and he smirks as he tells them, "You better believe it."
But you promised.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm also the district attorney.
Yeah.
I wear many hats.
Like,
and
oh, we're pushing.
I'm the judge as well.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You had nothing to do with him getting the death penalty.
Not at all. You were lucky to have a hand in his capture.
Yeah,
That's
and he
about
also,
it.
when he's like being interviewed or whatever, before he is interviewed, he does like the smug finger guns.
Yes, he
which
does.
I really
That was
appreciate.
great. Yeah.
But then whenever he said that, I was like, okay, so they're setting up our protagonist as a liar.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
because he promised.
He did. Now, again, he he has no hand.
No,
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to be so happy about it.
Well, I mean,
it feels like in this film we're being led to believe that he did.
Yeah.
No, we're seeking the death penalty.
The prosecutor's
I'm also
like,
the prosecutor.
we? What the fuck are you talking about?
well, he did help with the other three.
Yeah, that. Oh, yeah. He
like
was the
you're-
executioner.
You're king of the courts now.
But several police bring a cuffed and chained Channing up the steps. As the crowd boos him, he smiles. I feel like they wouldn't be just leading him through a crowd. There's other entrances.
This felt like a wrestling match.
Yeah.
He's like, Los Angeles is a pile of puke. Dude, yeah, fuck you. I live here.
It also, Channing's entire vibe is different from the dude that we were acquainted with at the beginning.
Very
Right.
true.
I don't know how much time is supposed to have passed because Logan has like a Wolverine healing skills.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time is supposed to have passed, but the guy that we saw earlier was like, he seemed a little nervous. He was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. This dude is like, yeah, LA sucks or whatever. Like he's got like this swagger about him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the hell are you?
He's like distracting the ref and everything. It's like, oh my God. And from what I know of the court system, like it's not 2 days that he gets his trial.
Absolutely not.
And this is the sentencing.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm okay.
Our timeline is not timelining.
Not so
hurry.
much.
We gotta hurry.
Yeah, that's true. See, I think this is when I realized that I'm like, they're really rushing through this, which only confused me more because I did think it was going to be that cat and mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no cat or mouse.
There is some cat and mouse, just not in the way that we thought
that's
it
true.
was going to cat
It's
and
like
mouse.
a spirit mouse. Well, we'll get to that in a
Spirit
minute.
cat.
Yes, true. But for some reason, the cops escorting Channing stop him right in front of Logan so they can talk.
The crowd's like, oh.
Oh my God. He's like, that's our baby face.
Yeah.
But Channing asks him how he's doing and if his stomach is okay as he laughs. But in a strange moment, and he keeps calling him Russ like they're old friends.
Yeah.
But Channing actually says that he hopes for the death penalty. He asks if he doesn't deserve it, then who does? Logan agrees, and Channing says that he knew he could count on him and that he owes him one.
We were talking earlier about how it's unnerving when people that are up for the death penalty are like, no, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, what's the catch?
Yeah.
No joke.
Because, I mean, and I had read something saying that this was or watched something, I can't remember, that this is kind of inspired by the serial killer Gary Gilmore because he literally said, yeah, go ahead and kill me. I'll just be back in another body.
Yeah.
Which, that's frightening.
Which is, I'm like, you can just stay over here. Maybe we'll just keep you. Maybe we don't execute this.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to convert his sentence to life. But the two men stare into each other's eyes, and we hear some kind of demonic breathing before they part company, Channing telling him, see you around, buddy boy.
I know that Russ maybe was a little too familiar, but buddy boy,
That's
that's
even.
your
Yeah.
fucking, like, that's rude.
That's disrespectful, I think.
That's fantastic.
And that becomes a running.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
That's just his nickname for him.
It's funny because we were saying how we had never heard of this or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was Eazy-E's favorite movie.
I heard
Yeah.
that.
He even has a song called First Power, and
Yeah.
he says Buddy Boy in it.
No shit.
It's on his last album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fantastic album, by the way.
I was just like, what the fuck? Like, how have I never heard of this?
When I looked up, because I didn't remember the Lord's Prayer saying which.
Right.
I thought it was Our Father who
Right.
art in heaven, but I'm a fucking atheist. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
anything. But whenever I looked up that quote, the first thing that came up was not, this is what I'm saying about how hard it is to look for stuff
Yeah, yeah.
on this movie. The first thing that came up was not the first power of the movie. It was the first
song.
power of the song.
Yeah.
And I was like, Eazy-E. And I'm like, well, fuck, he loved this movie.
Yeah. He said it was his favorite.
I mean, taste,
No, yeah.
you know?
This was another one of those things like when we were younger that we would say back and forth to each other.
I
Really?
bet.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this movie we used to watch. This was fucking fantastic as a kid.
Were you calling people buddy boy?
Well, I mean, like relatives,
Your
and my
brother?
brothers and stuff. Yeah,
But later at the police station, the detectives celebrate,
yeah,
popping a bottle of champagne. It spills on the front page of a newspaper that reads, Channing gets death penalty.
Yeah.
The cops cheer as Logan holds a glass of champagne and fucking humps the air.
Yeah. A lot of pelvic thrusting.
Yeah.
Like, he was so happy.
It made me laugh because he's humping the air and he's like, give it to me.
Yeah.
Which is like on some like Johnny Bravo shit. But,
Duke Nukem.
yeah.
The blow up doll guy is like a little decorum,
Yeah,
please.
Jesus Christ. We're not
Save
undercover.
that for your car.
It made me laugh though because he after he's like doing the humping,
Yeah.
he apologizes
Doing the
to a
hump, yeah.
coworker.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry you had to see
It
that.
was
He
out
knew
of
it
line.
was
It was, yeah. It's like too far. And it's so funny to me because it just makes the second he was doing this, I was thinking about the psychic on the phone.
Yeah.
She's like, you promised, and he's like, fucking yeah.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
But the good time and the air humping is interrupted by a phone call for Logan. A woman's voice on the other end, when he answers it, says, I warned you. Logan is still in party mode, and he spills his champagne, and he's like, you're going to have to repeat yourself. But, of course, it's Tess. She says that she warned him about the death penalty and to stop it before it's too late. She hangs up, and Logan seems to sober up a little bit.
Yeah.
The fact that the whole reason you caught this guy was because of that tip.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you fucking completely forgot about it. The trial only lasted 2 days. Damn.
We talk a lot about like somebody telling you that you're being annoying and then you replay, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Imagine after getting that phone call, he's like, I was like fucking humping shit. And like, it's like, ooh, that was a little too far.
Like, I was just so happy over there.
You ruined it.
Yeah, it's done now. But at the prison, Logan and Ollie are seated in the gallery as Channing is walked into the gas chamber. I think this is when I was like, God damn.
Looking exactly like he did. Like they just changed his clothes
Yeah.
from his sentencing.
That's, yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
They expedited.
Typically, exactly, death penalties are not carried out this quickly.
No,
Yeah.
you'll sit on death row for years.
Forever.
Because
Yeah.
there's fucking, he probably waived all his appeals.
I guess.
Because he's like, no, this is the whole point.
Yeah.
But the officers strap Channing into a chair as he jokes that one of the straps is a little loose. He makes eye contact with Logan and even gives him a little kiss through the glass. I laughed because
He's doing a lot.
He is doing a lot. Ollie offered a very 90s adios creep.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? That's something Sidney Prescott
I was
would
going to
say.
say, you cretin.
Yeah.
But when I saw him, I was like, okay, so it's good to know that he's still alive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is Carmen okay? I know
Yeah.
that our focus is Logan, but like they're like, nah, fuck those other cops. The last time we saw both of them, they were in some bad situations.
yeah.
True.
And we just never talk about him again.
That becomes a running thing.
Yeah, it does.
There's one point where they just abandon characters and like, no, we'll let the
Yeah.
audience figure it out. It's like, what?
So I was happy to see Ollie and know that he survived.
Yes. But Logan smirks at the creep line, and we see that the gas is beginning to fill the chamber as Channing breathes it in deeply. Like he wants this.
Yeah.
Which again would make me very nervous.
And
Oh,
that is was very unnerving to watch. I
Yes.
would say there's a lot of silliness in this movie, and maybe the greatest moment in film is coming up in just a second.
Oh
but
my God. Now I want to point out that you did not say in this film. You said in film.
Yeah.
I said what I said. Second only to like probably the wristwatch in House. I don't know.
The guy holding the boom?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
But that was unnerving. The fact that this is killing you.
Well, yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, no,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
get it in my lungs faster.
And even Logan looks a little uneasy at this.
It's scary.
He's like, maybe I should have
Yeah.
listened to that phone call.
Those phone calls.
Yeah, it's
true.
Maybe I should have kept my promise.
Yeah. But the camera swirls around the chamber, now completely filled with gas, and Channing slowly slips into death.
Look quick and painless.
I mean, I guess I have views on the death penalty that
I agree, but I was like, damn, that was fast.
Yeah.
it was very
He didn't even cough.
No. I do want to point out the music here. There is a sound that pops up that reminds me a lot. I don't know if you remember in 2018 Halloween.
Right.
Dr. Wolfie made a joke in his video because the Shape was hunting Allison, and the song is called "The Shape Hunts Allison." But there's this like noise, and that's the noise that's going on here, and so it made me happy because it reminded me when the Shape was hunting Allison.
Remember when the Shape hunted Allison?
But a fan clears the chamber of the gas, and Channing's hand twitches. Ollie's like, "It's just the aftershock. Like, don't worry." But Channing immediately rips through the straps and pulls out a knife that he somehow has on him.
Surprise, bitch. Yeah. The knife.
Yes.
That's a whole ass knife.
And it was a big
knife. Not even like a shiv.
No. But definitely Channing.
Yes.
Not at all a stunt double. 100% absolutely Channing. Jeff Kober. Smashes through the glass and makes his way into the gallery. Now,
okay.
All jokes aside.
Let's unpack this.
Yes.
A whole ass stuntman.
Yes.
With the whole ass different body build and face.
Yes.
Was standing there, broke the glass, it cuts away, and then it's Jeff Kober again.
Yes.
I fucking laughed my ass off all alone and by myself. I must have rewound it 5 times because I was like, they made no attempt to hide the fact.
And I think the thing is that you could very easily hide it by where the camera is.
Right.
But they have his full fucking body for a good 5 seconds.
It's a completely different person.
He has a thinner face. Like, it's clearly a different dude. Not even wearing a Channing mask.
I do gotta say though, the stunt work in this film is fucking great.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really good.
Yeah.
There are moments where I'm like, is that person okay?
Yeah.
But oh man, that moment I fucking.
Well, he had to get props for doing the stunt too.
That is true.
No, I want my face in it.
Yeah.
It made my entire day when I saw that.
I busted out laughing.
It brought me so much joy.
And it's funny you say, you're like, is he okay?
Yeah.
Because in that interview with Jeff Kober, he had said that there were stuntmen who got injured on this.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
He said one stuntman spent 9 weeks in the hospital.
Damn.
And that's why he was saying that he thinks it's cursed.
Oh, all
I saw
right,
that
all
Lou
right.
Diamond Phillips tore his hamstring.
Yeah.
Wow. Was it the parkour?
Yeah.
Dangerous work.
And I will say, for a lot of his stuff, it's Lou Diamond Phillips.
No, yeah.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
see because they don't hide faces.
No.
You can see that it's
But Channing pushes through officers and reporters as Logan pulls and cocks his gun. He fires at Channing, but it has no effect. Channing gets closer and brings the knife down into Logan, and Logan wakes up in his bed.
So I will say, I didn't want to give anything away, but the minute he stood up and took out that knife, I was like, this better be a
Dude,
dream.
yeah.
The fact that he had a whole ass knife.
Yeah.
Yes, and that they didn't. I honestly said, I told myself, if this is real, I probably would have turned it off. So I'm glad.
First power is canceled.
Yes. Cut the power off.
No, I did see the dream thing coming, but it made me wonder if he had really been executed.
Yeah.
He had.
Yeah.
So the way
Part of this is real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The way that we're supposed to deduce. No, the first half happened, but when his hand started twitching,
and
that's the dream.
And when his stunt double,
Yeah.
that wasn't real. Well, dreams are weird. I've seen faces switched out in dreams and stuff.
Where you're like, I know that's John Paul. It doesn't look like that.
But somehow we know that it's Jeff Kober. But his cat, which we learned is named Jack, jumps from some undisclosed location right onto Logan, scaring the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I feel like the cat was really insult to injury.
Yeah. Well, that's for not letting him eat that pizza earlier.
Yeah. Wake you up, motherfucker.
Yeah. But Logan is covered in sweat, but he catches his breath and reaches for a cigarette. I did notice there's like a rose on his pillow.
I
Really?
didn't notice that.
didn't.
What I did notice was that he was covered in sweat until it cut, and then he was not covered in
No,
sweat.
yeah. he toweled off between takes.
Yeah.
He heals like Wolverine.
Yes.
Sweat was like...
But as soon as he grabs his cigarette, Jack begins to hiss at him. So instead of smoking, Logan grabs his gun and puts on a pair of pants.
He's like, Jack is usually very chill.
Yeah.
He only acts like this when someone breaks in.
Yeah.
But literally always listen to your cat. Because if your
Oh,
cat's
no,
acting
yeah.
weird, like
Something's-
there's a
yeah.
reason.
What I thought, I was like, he doesn't like you smoking.
Yeah.
He's like, do you know how bad it is for your
Like
health?
it is 1990.
No.
But he creeps around the apartment and admonishes Jack for overreacting over nothing. But as soon as he says this, he hears a woman scream. He kicks open the door to his home office and finds the walls smeared in blood spatter, bloody handprints, and roughly drawn pentagrams. There's suddenly a knock at his door, and he goes to answer it, but he sees that it's 2 uniformed cops played by Mitch Carter and Jeff Moring. Things were ramping up. I was like, it's going to be fucking Channing.
Okay.
Yeah.
There were a few places that I thought this was going to go, and it went none of them.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Well, first, there's a knock at the door. I'm like, close that door.
Yeah.
You're clearly being framed.
That's
Yeah.
what, yes.
But they come in and he's like, no, look at right this way. I was like, what are you doing?
So I will say this, and I'm going to put this out there, and you can agree or disagree, but with the blood in his office
Yeah.
and with everything that's going on and with stuff that happens later, Indigo Prophecy,
Oh my God.
the video game.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
David Cage?
Yeah. I think David Cage saw this movie.
He liked it a little bit.
Yeah, he had a lot of it. Because that also has an odd third act switch.
That's for goddamn sure.
So,
But I thought, I was like, oh, you continue, and then I'll say what I thought.
okay. But the cops that are at the door, they tell him that headquarters needs him and that it's an emergency. Logan says that it'll have to wait because they need to get the evidence techs in here immediately because he's got a fucking bloodbath in his... But when they head into his office, it is perfectly clean, the walls a pristine white.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, at first I thought he was being framed and
Yes.
that he was going to go down for, shit that Channing was doing behind the grave or
Right,
whatever.
right.
No. That
Yeah.
didn't happen. And then when it was all cleaned up, I was like, okay, so that's foreshadowing. Someone's going to be attacked in his office.
Right.
Nah.
Yeah.
Also, it didn't happen.
There's a lot of, I guess, but I mean, there's plenty of foreshadowing in this film.
Right.
This, and it leads immediately to things.
Mm-hmm.
This one was the one that I was like very confused by.
Because
Yeah.
that's it.
And it's such a bold thing.
Uh-huh.
It's his fucking
Well,
house.
Because I
Right.
feel like this is the switch to something otherworldly or whatever is happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, it that was it. If you want more information on The Office, you're not getting it. I'm sorry.
I think we barely see it one more time.
Yeah. I
film.
took it as just a warning. It was, you know what I mean? It was like, I'm still here,
I think
motherfucker.
that's the way it was meant.
Okay.
But I was like, no, this means something.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. It
And
didn't.
I honestly think that would be very interesting if from Beyond the Grave, he's framing the cop that got him.
No, yeah.
Yeah. No.
But Logan looks very confused, and the uniformed cops remind him of HQ's urgency. In the next scene, Logan arrives at the park and the scene of the crime where they found Channing that night with Carmen. Police cars and officers fill the area as Logan meets up with Ollie. Ollie tells him that it's Carmen. He says that some freaks brought her back to the same place. Inside Channing's little lair, Logan opens up a body bag to reveal the body of Carmen, her throat slit, and a pentagram carved into her abdomen.
That's not fair. I'm like, she hasn't been through enough.
Yeah.
No, well, apparently not. And I think that's the thing that gets me is that nobody, I understand, well, I guess never mind. I was going to say nobody's watching Carmen after she's been kidnapped. They're not checking in on her or anything, but they weren't even watching her that night.
No,
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you're right.
this is par for the course.
Yeah.
But when she's dead, I'm like, so was Channing really executed or not? Like, how
Yeah.
much of that was
Yeah.
a dream?
Like, did this stunt double bust out of the thing? Like, at what point? But then it's clear, no, he's been executed.
Yeah.
All that stuff's been carried out.
Yeah.
And that's the other question is how, and I think that's an issue I have with the film is the passage of time.
Right.
How much time has passed? Because,
no.
I mean,
It's all the same night.
okay. He recovered. He
This
was
whole film-
executed.
This whole film takes place in 24 hours.
But we then cut to a parking garage where Tess whips her car into a parking spot, much to the chagrin of another motorist who tells her to go to hell. So they fucking set up Logan as a liar who breaks promises.
Yeah.
And then they set up Tess as like a jerk who steals parking spots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was like, this is our other protagonist. 'Cause she's like,
Yeah, she was so proud.
I was like, what an
Damn.
asshole.
But after she gets out of her car, like smirking and very proud of herself, she stops dead in her tracks when she sees blood leaking from a pipe overhead. She turns around to find the entire parking garage is now empty, and she's surrounded by the sounds of whispers and whipping wind when she sees Channing standing behind a pillar. He slowly walks towards her, and as she turns to run, he grabs her from behind. She's then transported back to reality, the parking garage once again filled with cars, where she is saved from being hit by a car by man in parking structure, played by David Cadams. And this is when I was like, oh, so she's definitely psychic.
Yeah.
Okay. Because before I was like, maybe Ollie's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now
we only saw her mouth.
Yeah.
Before too. So this is the first time we're even seeing her face.
Yeah, in broad daylight. So it's like, who's this jerk?
Yeah. I hope she's next.
Yeah. But the man holds a newspaper under his arm, and we see that the headline peeking out reads, "Cop Killed, Suspected Pentagram Killer Link." Tess sees it too and storms off.
It was funny to me because looking at this interaction from that man's point of view, she's literally, first of all, why was that car going that fast in that parking structure? Unless that was the guy she cut off and he's like, no, fuck this bitch. He saves her from getting hit. She takes his newspaper and is like, oh, God.
And then throws it at him, yeah. But in the next scene, Tess sits in an interrogation room at the police station as Logan, Ollie, and Mazza stare at her through the one-way glass. Ollie says that Tess is attractive, doesn't seem crazy, knows who the serial killer is, and will only talk to Logan.
Wouldn't you immediately be like, oh, that's the psychic?
Yeah.
That's been fucking calling my phone and only talking to me, who's also a woman, who also knew details of the case.
Whose voice I've heard.
Yeah.
But no, Logan enters the room and introduces himself to Tess. She says that she didn't want to come here, but didn't know what else to do. He tells her that she did the right thing, and they sit down to talk. He asks her to tell him what she knows about Carmen's death, and through a bit of incredulity at his confusion, she tells him that Carmen was murdered by Patrick Channing, the pentagram killer. Logan is not in the mood. He thinks it's bullshit, but she tells him what really is bullshit. Logan on television celebrating Channing's death sentence.
Was he pelvic thrusting on TV?
Yeah, it's like, give it to me, give it to me. It's like, oh my God. and this comes up later as well, because there's something that happens that I'm like, why the fuck?
I wonder if we're thinking of the same thing.
We probably
I had a big bone to pick.
Yes, it was a femur that I picked.
The biggest bone.
Biggest bone. But she says that they may have killed his body, but his spirit has been released. Now, again, this is where I, as Logan, would recognize her.
Oh, yeah.
So Channing's back in pog form. But my point of contention here was, how do you hear all this and be like, oh, this random woman just wandered in? Come on. Because when it finally does hit him, and I know we're going to get there in a second, he's like, oh.
It's like such a huge deal.
Well, he's still hungover from the night before. Remember, this is all happening.
It's the span of like 3 days.
He's still on medication from being in critical condition.
That's true.
Okay, I forgot.
Well, he's off the critical list now.
Yeah.
Wolverine. And his name's Logan.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But Logan isn't buying the whole spirit thing, of course, and when he tries to see her out, she tells him not to patronize her. She says that she's a professional psychic and begins to list cases that she's assisted on, but Logan cuts her off. She tells him that he's not dealing with a man anymore. He's dealing with a force. Logan gives her the Oogie Boogie treatment and says that he's going to do the best he can.
All right.
Yeah. But she calls him a liar for breaking his promise about the death penalty, and he stops in his tracks.
Yeah.
He's like, that was you? And at this point, I was like, I just think this dude's a terrible cop. If he's like, his deduction.
Yeah.
And also the way he uses his gun, the way that he trails suspects, the way that he...
Hell of a parkour artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
now, we're not saying anything about that. But he says that it's a pleasure to meet her and that he wanted to thank her. He asks how well she knew Channing because he clearly isn't buying all the psychic business. She says that she tried to stay out of it, but after seeing that he murdered a little girl, she had to get involved. She says that she opened herself up to Channing and she never felt such blackness and rage. Logan sarcastically says that she used her psychic powers to find out where Channing would strike next and asks if that's how she got his home phone number too. She's like, no, I have a friend that works at the phone company.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Good.
Yeah.
That's one of the few points in the movie that they wanted me to laugh, and I did.
Yeah.
But this little back and forth, I'm like, oh, so we're going to be in love before this is
clearly.
done,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
It's setting up, somehow setting up a love arc. But Tess says that she helped him, and then he broke his promise to her.
This is when you remember the popping of champagne and the pelvic thrusting.
It's like, man, that was...
I really broke that.
We should have got a flashback of that.
Yeah.
Just like laid on top of it.
And him looking up like, oh, yeah.
Fuck, I really did break that. I had a good time breaking that. Yeah.
But she says that now Channing is after him, and he's after her, too. Logan asks how he can get a hold of her, and she says that he can call her, and soon, leaving the room after handing him a business card. I was like, why don't you just continue the conversation here? She's already here.
Yeah.
I'm a busy man.
I guess. It's like, can I talk to you later?
I've got training for parkour in half an hour.
We got a class. But Ollie and Mazza come in, and Logan tells Mazza to tail her, which he does with pleasure.
The budget for detail that they have in the station is just... I mean, you didn't even have to file anything.
No.
Just like, follow that bitch.
You got it, boss.
Yeah.
And I don't know, his eagerness, I don't know if that was a callback to him being a pervert earlier.
Yeah.
He's like, with pleasure. You know what? Ollie, you tail her.
Anyone else?
Yeah, somebody else.
Mazza, go over there. You're off the task force. How about that? But interestingly, Ollie says that they caught the guy who killed Carmen and they've just brought him in. We cut to a jail cell where Grimes is grilling the alleged killer, who sits there catatonic.
This is a little convenient.
Yeah, I'd say so. Logan, Ollie, and Perkins stand outside the cell, Perkins telling Logan that they found the guy in an alley with the murder weapon in his hand.
A little too convenient.
Yeah, I would say so too. He says that he has no ID, though, so they can't even identify him.
Right.
But he says that the guy is, quote, just some junkie with tracks on his legs. Now, they talk about drug addicts and unhoused people in this film in a way that is very...
They're pretty rough. They're pretty rough.
And I will say that what he says now is very rude, but it fits into what they say later about Channing's abilities.
Right.
But Logan pops a cigarette into his mouth and heads into the cell. Logan sits down next to the killer, but he just stares off into space. Logan lights his cigarette and then raises the lighter to the killer's face, the flame dancing right before his eyes, but he doesn't react at all.
This is clearly, I mean, a scapegoat situation.
Yeah.
Like, there's no awareness here whatsoever.
No.
You're holding the murder weapon. Like, this is, I feel like putting the murder weapon in the hand is really just overkill.
Yeah.
Like, we get it.
Yeah,
like, This person is being framed.
Right.
He had a note in his hand that said, I killed Carmen. He wrote a book called If I Did It.
No, because then he really would have done it.
Yeah. But Logan gets up to leave, but as he does, he hears Channing's voice say, see you around, buddy boy. For whatever reason, he looks to Grimes and he's like, what did you say?
You work with him.
Yeah.
That was not his voice.
No.
At all.
And it was coming from behind you.
He's like, I've never called you buddy boy.
No.
You know what you heard, man.
Yeah. Of course, Grimes didn't say anything, and Logan looks back at the killer, who continues to just stare off into space before storming out. Logan stops in the hall, followed by Ollie, who checks in on him. Logan asks if the guy in the cell looked like a killer to him, and Ollie says that it's possible. Maybe he did it and then just went into shock. Logan isn't buying it, though, and he says that with the psychic showing up today, too, it's all a setup. So the two men drive to Tess's house, but when she doesn't answer the door, Logan just breaks in.
All right.
Yeah.
I have a problem.
Yeah.
Because he's like, call it a psychic hunch. And then he breaks in.
Well, because
it's like,
Ollie's like, they're not going to like
you
this.
can't do that.
No.
It's like, psychic hunch is not admissible in court.
Yeah.
No matter what you find in here, if you think she's in on this or whatever, you blew it.
Yes.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
This seems like a very flexible office in terms of giving these detectives what they need.
Absolutely.
Just literally ask and be like, I just want to get in this house. And they'd be like, bet. Like, that's what it feels like.
The judge is like, all right.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
But Logan is also the judge. So, I mean,
so
like,
it's fine.
he can really do whatever he
Well,
wants.
my thing, though, is that he had to get his cheesy 90s line in.
Of course.
Because, honestly, you see this a lot in cop movies, and honestly, you see this a lot in cops.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, I heard a scream, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
I smelled weed, didn't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
And then they
Boom.
bust inside.
Yeah.
But instead, he's got to diss Tess, who isn't even there.
Yeah.
Who was that for? That was for you.
Yeah. But her house is sweet as hell.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
house is fucking crazy.
yeah.
It's got a nice view. It's got a massive, like, windowed wall.
It's like an open floor plan. It's,
Swimming pool.
How did you afford this?
She's fucking
Lottery numbers.
Yeah.
Yes, no shit. Why don't? Oh my god.
I don't think you can use it for personal gain.
Says who?
Says Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the king court.
If I
court
got
king.
court. If I got psychic powers, I would use it for good for as long as I could, and then I would win the lottery.
For as long as I could.
Well, because time is money.
Yeah.
And I would feel bad charging people because it's like a service, but I would get those lottery numbers. And
No,
then
that's why you charge people, because it is a service.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
So
But
now I
also get the
understand.
lottery numbers.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
don't get the lottery
I feel
numbers.
like you would get the lottery numbers and then your powers would disappear the next day, but I've got the lottery numbers, so I'm fine. That's why I wasn't made a psychic.
Is that how it works?
I think so.
Use it for personal gain.
Like, no,
I'm
that's
done.
it.
No
yeah.
more.
They're like,
So take it back.
pull those
Yeah.
powers. But they let themselves inside her office, and Logan leaves through her mail a bit before turning on her computer and going through her files.
And seeing her fucking sweet ass high tech cutting edge website.
Oh, yeah. that
Don't
was-
gloss over that, because that
Oh,
shit
no,
was
no.
impressive.
That was, I mean,
Wow.
yeah. Flash player or whatever.
Hey, that was all the rage. In the
That is
90s.
true.
It was the shit.
But in one of the files, Logan finds a ton of photos and news clippings about himself, as well as a birth chart, which Ollie mistakenly calls his horoscope.
Yeah. She's got a dossier on him.
Yeah.
And I mean, the birth chart, she probably just wants to see if they're compatible. She knows where this is leading.
Yeah,
We all know where this is
Well,
leading.
she's psychic.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like, we're going to fall in love.
Yeah.
that's my man. We already know.
But Ollie worries that Tess might have also made a voodoo love doll of him and tells him to watch out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is buddy cop territory.
Yeah.
Mazza, meanwhile, is still tailing Tess, and he stands outside of a bakery where she's snagging some food. But when he turns to check out an attractive blonde woman, he completely loses sight of Tess.
What a fucking idiot. Why
Yeah.
do we keep putting this dude?
I don't know.
He's like, but is it as good as my blow up dolls? Nah. I was like, let me keep trailing.
But he looks around nervously, heading off to find Tess, but she just steps out from behind a plant, asking if he's looking for something. She's very wise to the tale, telling him not to lie and that it's all over his aura. He's like, aura?
I love that when she says shit like this, everyone around her is like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
I know.
It's very funny, but
It's like, it's not even, it's like, I get it. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying.
I don't know if in the like how prevalent,
Right.
what was going on 30
Right,
years
right.
ago.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I wasn't online yet. It's 1990. I wasn't even born
You
yet.
weren't here.
Yeah. Wow. Just live in that moment for a second. But she tells him that if he's lonely, he should try computer dating, which I gotta be honest, I didn't know was a thing in 1990.
I mean, Tess really has her finger on the pulse
Yeah.
of
I
guess.
technology.
Look at her website.
Yeah. So
There's online chats and everything, man.
Oh, goddamn. Are they on
I was
AIM,
too
or-
young. I
Oh.
don't know, but I know the
little
older.
fart.
Yeah, I know the older folks were doing it.
Doing such things.
Yeah.
I love the callback to Talk Mortem because
Yeah.
if y'all last month's Talk Mortem was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
We talked about screen names and
We learned some things.
Yeah.
10 a.m.
Yes. that's when it comes on. But Tess tells him to leave her alone or she'll call the cops.
But okay, see, Tess, like, we're here.
Uh-huh.
This man is fucking clearly a cop.
Yeah.
Like, he's wearing a sign that says,
I
I'm
am
a
a
cop
cop.
and
Yeah.
I'm tailing you.
What's weird to me though is that he doesn't say
No, at all.
I am a cop.
Well, because
Yeah.
even he, I feel like, isn't dumb enough to blow up his spot. it makes more sense for the investigation or whatever for her to think she's just he's a weirdo.
I mean, but
than to know that the cops are tailing me.
But instead, he just like turns around and he's like, "Fuck!" Like he's fucking furious.
Like, where'd that blonde go?
It's the only thing that can cheer me up now.
Just start tailing someone else.
But back at Tess's place, Logan listens to her answering machine. The first message is a woman setting up an appointment. The second is a guy named Paul canceling a date. But then, on the third message, we hear Channing's voice. He says it looks like the score is Pentagram 16, LAPD 1. But not even really 1. He's like, 'cause I'm still here. But then he asks for a romantic rendezvous at the church across from Olvera Street before signing off with a Buenos Dias, buddy boy.
Just for flavor.
Yeah. He's married to this buddy boy.
Yeah.
I laughed. He's like, that's how you know it's me.
Yes.
It's not Grimes.
It's me. Patrick Channing.
It's me, Midville.
Yeah.
It made me laugh because the prior messages, the appointment, she was like, I need to make an appointment with you because so-and-so told me that you're the best psychic she's ever had, blah, blah, blah. And then the next one, the guy breaking up with her is like, I'm sick of you knowing what I'm thinking before I say it or whatever. I'm like, is this just an ad for her? Like,
yeah.
Like these messages are just so like, you're a good psychic.
Ollie's like, do you have another business card?
Yeah.
But when you immediately call Ollie in and be like, listen.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so here's what really shocked me. Because Logan rewinds the tape, and surprisingly, the message is still there.
Yeah.
So that's when, of course, I would be like, you need to hear this.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
Right. Because especially with what happened with his room.
Yes.
Right.
I would want immediately.
Some kind of witness.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Tess arrives home with her dry cleaning and baked goods. The way she walks in, she's doing her best not to see Logan.
Yeah.
Because the windows are so huge that he's right there.
There's no way.
But when she gets inside, Logan steps out from behind the fireplace, startling her. He says they need to talk. Ollie grabs her by the arm and brings her into the living room where they stand as Logan rewinds the answering machine tape again.
Tess is like, you went through our thing.
That's one way to react. Good Lord.
But the way he's just going through her answering machine, he's like, oh, by the way, you got dumped.
Yeah.
She needs to hear this.
He's a fucking asshole.
You didn't have to do her like that.
No. Again, that's what I'm saying. This is our protagonist.
Yeah.
But it replays the message of the dude canceling his date with Tess, and Tess looks upset to hear it. But Logan's like, it's the next message.
Yeah. Like that's a good one, but after this one.
It's like, yeah, it's sad and everything, but whatever.
We'll touch on that in a minute. Hold on.
But when he goes for the third message, nothing plays, and the machine blinks a red 2 instead of 3.
I feel like we all knew that this message was going to be gone.
Well, it was because of how sure he's like, it's the next one.
Yeah.
Like nothing's going to be fucking happening. But Logan and Ollie bicker over whether or not Logan accidentally deleted the message. Logan tells him that he heard Channing or someone who sounded like Channing.
It may have been Grimes.
Yeah, I do not know. But Tess asks, what if it was Channing? But this pisses Logan off. He posits that she was part of the same cult as Channing and says to tell him who her friends are. He even says that she probably put the guy in the alley and made it look like he killed Carmen. It's a big leap.
That's a lot. You are like way out of line.
Yeah.
The way that he treats this woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is your badge number? Like, this is crazy.
Because if you think this is bad.
Yes.
Tess says that poor soul was probably someone that Channing possessed and then abandoned. Logan grabs her, shakes her, and yells in her face, "Do not fuck with me."
Dude.
Shaking is a...
Yes.
You broke into my house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
And I have to repeat, you went through our things? Like, that's... I'm calling back again to like how unadmissible this is.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, you fucked everything up. You can't bring any of this in.
But now you've got assault.
Yeah,
Yes.
because he's handling that lady.
It's unbelievable.
It's not a little like shaky.
No, he's
No.
shaking the shit out of her.
Her head's flopping.
Yeah.
Like it's
God
fucking
damn.
horrible. But he says that Carmen, a good cop, is dead and he knows that she's involved somehow. Even Ollie's like, hey man,
Well,
dude.
goddamn.
He pulls them apart because that It's a lot.
Yeah.
But when he stands in front of Tess and with her psychic sight, his religious necklace has transformed into one of a pentagram. She tells him that he's in danger, and Logan tells her to save it for the paying customers and drags her to the car with Ollie to take her to Olvera Street, which was the location that was given on the message.
Man, I don't care if I didn't believe in it or not. If somebody looks at me like that and they're like, you're in danger,
I'm next.
we're not going to some park.
Nope.
No, we're done.
Yeah, let's go back to the station.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also, am I being detained?
Oh, yeah.
Where are we going? What are you doing?
No, you're being kidnapped.
Yeah.
This is fucking beyond.
And he sounds fucking out of it
Oh,
because
yeah.
as they're walking out, he's like the romantic rendezvous across on Olvera Street, right?
We
She's
didn't
like, what
hear
the
that.
fuck
Yeah,
are you talking
no
about?
shit.
Never heard that message.
That was just you.
Yeah.
But when they arrive on Olvera Street, there seems to be a massive festival going on around them. As soon as they step out of the car, Tess tells them that Channing is here. Logan's like, yeah, good.
I said, come on, dude. Calm down for a second.
Yes.
For
It's like,
one
hold
second.
on. Think about, like you said, y'all broke into her apartment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or her home. No warrant, nothing.
Nah.
Then you go through her shit. You shake her up a little bit.
Yes.
Now you're taking her against her will somewhere else. But we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Apparently.
If we can just take a step back
Just-
and look at our behavior for
Yeah.
just a
second,
moment.
Yeah.
And he pisses me off even more in a second because Ollie pulls him aside for a word, asking him what they're even doing here.
Yeah.
Logan
It was
reminds...
like the message, dude.
Yeah, he says that, and Ollie's like, I never heard that.
Yeah.
And so he lies to him, and he's like, well, maybe I did delete it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you didn't,
Because
dude.
back there, he was like, maybe you delete. I didn't fucking
Yeah.
delete it.
It's like, if you say I deleted it, and he pulls his gun with his weird stance. But Ollie is thoroughly creeped out. He says, what if what Tess said was right and I am in danger?
That would be me. I would not
Yeah.
take that lightly
Yeah.
at all. Because people are literally dying. Like,
Yes.
it's not like
No,
a
yeah.
random person is even if a random person told me
It's
this,
still
I'm
a
like,
lot.
I guess I'm staying home today.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
no,
I mean,
yeah.
that's scary as fuck.
Someone you know and work with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he says to just calm down, as if he himself hasn't been experiencing any kind of weird...
Yeah.
Yeah, no
That's what
shit.
that bugged me in this movie. It bugs me in every movie that it happens.
Uh-huh.
Because when somebody sees things that are like happening weird or maybe supernatural, but definitely something's not right, and then somebody's like, hey, I think something's not right. Shut up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like, no, you've experienced things too. Do you not remember the blood in your office, in your
Yeah.
apartment?
I think
and
that-
hearing his voice when you
Your
were
weird
talking to the
dreams.
Yeah.
suspect.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's
your
3.
cat.
Yeah.
Your
Yes.
cat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
The cat was hopped up on pepperoni. I don't know if I'd blame the cat. But I think that's what bothered me is that I feel like this warning from Tess to him is the least unbelievable thing.
Right.
You saw your office filled with blood,
Yeah.
but you're like, Ollie, fucking calm down.
You heard Channing's voice when it wasn't there.
Yeah.
You heard a
Twice.
message from him
Oh,
that
yeah.
nobody else heard.
But you're like, Ollie, you're such a punk. It's like, Jesus Christ. But as vendors around them cook food and loud music blares, the trio continues on down Olvera Street. Ollie is weirded out as people just stare at him as he walks past. But as the church bell tolls, which again is very spooky, out of nowhere, Tess notices a horse-drawn carriage speeding towards Ollie and shouts to Logan, "It's him."
Okay, so I'm going to be completely honest. Up until in a little while, I thought that he was the horse because of the way that this horse behaves.
Yeah.
Does he have that power? They didn't
And
say
then
anything about
later-
animals.
Yeah,
Later,
they
I'm like,
didn't.
oh, it's the driver of the
Yeah.
carriage.
What, when later they discover?
Yes, but I literally. Please go on.
Yeah.
What does this horse
The
do?
horse is like, buddy boy. You're like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it was
Yeah,
him.
a horse is a horse, of course. But after she yells out, it is too late because the horse collides with Ollie, knocking him down. The horse then rears up and just crushes Ollie's guts with his hooves over and over again.
So why was that horse so mad? That's why I was like, that's Channing. And then what can you say? Oh, the horse murdered him. You can't fucking say anything. And I know that we all saw Ollie's death coming after Tessa's warning or whatever.
Yes.
You know, I could have listed 100 ways that I thought this dude would go, and death by horse would not have been on the list at all.
No, that was very surprising.
Well, I mean, gotta keep it fresh.
It is fresh.
Yeah.
I will give it that. But also, I feel like in a lot of other films, we would maybe have like a false sense of security where Ollie maybe could live for 5 minutes after getting the warning.
That is a fair point.
But the pacing of this movie.
The next day.
It's the next minute.
We gotta hurry.
Gotta keep it moving. I will say that it was as surprising as it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Ollie's body was switched out with a doll
Yeah.
several times. And they didn't even try to hide it.
No.
I think maybe that's why I give this movie kind of a pass, because it's like, look, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not hiding stuntmen's faces. We're
No.
not. That is a doll.
Yeah, we don't have the budget
that it's
for
a
that.
doll.
Yeah, apparently not.
It's got like that for me is like charming in a weird way, where it's just like, oh, we're just doing this. Like we're not pretending to be something we're not. This is just, it is what it is.
Can I add, would it surprise you to learn that the estimated budget for this film was $10 million?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was quite surprised.
Yes, it would.
I was like, I'd like to see your finances, please. Where is your accountant? But Logan fires his gun, dispersing the crowd, and he and Tess rush over to Ollie. Logan cradles him, and Ollie tells him that he saw Channing. It was him. Blood pours from his mouth as Logan calls for an ambulance. I will say that as he closes his eyes, but he remains in motion. His arms are moving.
Yeah.
His body's moving. We never see Ollie again.
Never again. We never even speak of him
No,
again.
that's why I was so confused. I was like, so Ollie's gonna probably be in a hospital.
What he's on the, what did they say, the critical list?
Yeah, for about 6 hours. But we literally never see or hear from him again.
Yeah.
But Logan and Tess then get in his car and speed after the carriage. In camera angles, the horse is consistently obstructing the face of the driver.
Yeah, that's why I thought we were looking at the horse.
Like, well, he's dead center. It's obviously like that horse looks like Jeff Gober.
Yeah.
It doesn't. But they eventually pull up on the abandoned carriage, which is parked in front of an old building. Tess tries to get out to help, but Logan forcibly buckles her back into her seat, telling her that he and her friend will be right back.
What are you doing? What do you think?
He still thinks they're in
This
cahoots.
is a lot.
Oh, it's more than a lot.
But when the driver was gone, that's when I was like, oh.
The horse was innocent.
The horse was a fucking scapegoat.
Yeah.
It was a escape horse.
But Tess tells him that he's doing exactly what Channing wants him to do, but he doesn't listen. He just grabs his gun and heads inside the building. Once inside, Logan peers up the stair hole and sees a man rushing to the roof. He hears Channing's voice call out, "Piggy," which only emboldens him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He slowly creeps around water tanks, but the assailant stands on top of them, leaping across. Logan fires as the man stands at the edge of the building, and he tells the man to freeze, but we can see that it is clearly Channing now.
Yeah, I'm like, the gun, you couldn't even shoot him when he was alive.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is not the route you need to be taking.
I feel like he still doesn't think that it's Channing.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, bullet,
Dude.
it's a man.
Yeah.
Dude.
You know, well, it's Channing, but
Yeah.
Channing turns around and tells him, "See you around, buddy boy," before leaping off the edge of the building, falling several stories, only to land on his feet like a fucking cat. And he keeps running.
And this was a real stunt.
Yeah.
That a real stunt person did.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, Logan looks bewildered, and so did I.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, like, because Tess had mentioned possessing a body or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he could jump off this building, kill that body, and then his spirit just floats away into somebody else.
Yeah.
No. He's like, parkour, bitch. It just tripped me out. This is in my notes where I put, this movie's wild as fuck.
Yes.
Because I'm like, what are the rules? I don't know. It was,
Yeah.
a little mind boggled at this point.
Well, that's exactly what I thought. I thought that he was getting rid of this vessel.
Right.
And then he was just going to show up somewhere else. But when he lands
like,
and he turns around and he's like, ha, and he just keeps running. I was like, this is fucking out of this world.
Wild.
But in all fairness, I'm still on board.
Okay.
I have not left the board yet.
Okay.
But after witnessing that incredible stunt, Logan takes the fire escape down, but when he gets down there, there's no sight of Channing. He asks gang member 1 and 2, played by Charles Raymond and Scott Lawrence respectively, if they saw where the man who jumped off the building went, and they treat him like he's high on drugs.
Somebody needs to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They're like, give us some of what you have, man. And they fucking high five.
How crazy does that sound?
It sounds, yeah. Well, how do you even respond to a question like that?
Like that.
Yeah.
Right over there. Over there.
Yeah, to the left, officer. But later, we see Perkins arrive on the scene, trying to understand how Logan's story about what happened is even possible.
There's really no way.
No.
Like, you know, it just... there's a lot of shit happened.
Uh-huh.
All right, Sarge, but we're not.
Like, was he wearing one of those windsuits?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? You had to have missed something,
Yeah.
Logan. But Logan, of course, can't explain it. And they arrive back at Logan's car, but it's empty. He asks where Tess is, and Grimes says, oh, you mean the woman whose house you entered illegally and then abducted and then recklessly endangered the life of?
Yeah.
Logan's
That
like,
one.
yeah, her.
Yeah.
When you put it like that.
Thank you. Somebody needed to tell him.
Yeah, because this is not good behavior.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, and Ollie's probably dead.
Yeah. But we won't speak of him again.
I don't get it.
No, but it turns out that her lawyer came and collected her and seems to have plans to sue.
Oh,
He needs
yeah.
he should be sued.
Grimes jokes that Logan's suspect might have flown away like a little birdie, and he offers a little tweet before laughing and walking away. It's like, you fucker. But an officer rushes over to them with bad news. They got Mazza. Nobody was thinking about Mazza.
No. Well, Mazza, the last time we saw him, he just kind of wandered off.
Yeah, looking all pissed off.
Yeah.
But Logan arrives on the scene, surrounded by other police. On the underside of a tall bridge, we see Mazza crucified and tied against the steel. It's honestly a sight to behold.
It's chilling.
It's very I feel like this is the tone I wanted them to maintain.
Yeah.
Like these horrible set pieces.
Yeah.
Because seeing him up there as tiny as he looks.
Yeah.
I felt very much sympathetic towards the actor that had to do this.
Yeah.
But holy shit.
It's unnerving.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like we keep flip-flopping between just this wild action shit, horses going crazy, people jumping off of buildings and Will Smith laughing and running away. And now this is genuinely upsetting and unsettling.
Yeah.
My head is spinning. Like, this is a lot.
Trying to catch up to what the fuck's going on.
Because the tone shifts a lot.
Yeah. And he's perving on women in heaven now.
Yeah, yeah. He died doing what he loved.
I guess.
Following
Being
women.
a fucking creep. But the police wonder how they even got him up there, and we see a crane ascending up to get him down. Once they do, a coroner places him on a cart, and we see that just like Carmen, his throat is cut and a pentagram is carved into his chest.
Naturally.
I was laughing because, like, if he's even dead, Ollie didn't get a pentagram. He's got horse bruises.
Horses can't draw pentagrams.
Unless he was doing it in the shape. He's like, the horse is like, connect these marks.
Or that's in the horseshoe. You just press down.
Oh, cool.
That's why I feel like
All right.
Yeah.
Ollie's death doesn't really fit because it felt like it just needed to serve the fact that Tess was like, you better watch out. And then he got.
Yeah, it proves her abilities.
It proves her abilities and maybe like Logan's recklessness in heeding the warnings that she's trying to give him.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he did not need to go out like that. Like, I feel like why? Nobody else was death by horse. Nobody else got treated that way.
Well, no, but they were taken. Nobody seen them get taken. They were their death happened off screen. We don't know what was going on then.
If there were horses involved?
I mean, like, he had time to kill them and carve.
But why couldn't Ollie get taken?
We got it.
Dude,
I don't know. It feels disrespectful.
What
He's gonna take him?
What I think would have made more sense is if he gets run over by the cart, he gets scooped up by the driver of the cart, and then in the building they find his corpse.
Yeah,
that would have made more sense.
Where did Masa come from?
Yeah, it's like this weird misdirection.
I don't know.
That's why I thought that Ollie wasn't dead,
right?
Because he didn't get any of the insignia.
Oh, well,
maybe he's not.
Yeah, maybe he's not.
We'll never know. Yeah. They've not explained it.
Well, we can hope he's alive.
Yes,
he's alive.
He's
it's
recovering.
Canon.
They
Yeah.
called an ambulance.
They did, and he was moving. He's alive.
We'll find out.
No, we won't.
He's like Kirby. He'll be in the sixth power. But at this point, Perkins puts Grimes in charge of the investigation, which probably isn't the worst idea.
No, he had it coming.
Yeah.
Like, Russ, Logan, whatever.
Yeah.
You needed to be taken off
Yeah.
of this. This is too much. Just what he did with Tess.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's enough. You're on leave.
That's a lawsuit, dude.
This is, wow.
Probably paid leave, but...
Probably. It is the LAPD.
Yeah.
Logan says that he hopes that he is going nuts, because if he isn't, then Grimes being on the case isn't going to do much good. Sometime later, Logan arrives at a church, and he makes his way through the aisle and crosses himself before sitting down in a pew. After a moment, he overhears a woman praying and sees another woman leaving the confessional. He decides to give it a go himself and enters the booth, kneeling at the, is it a window? What do they call it?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I guess.
I felt like this was interesting for his character to be going to church, but also it's like, you need all the help you can get. You know that there's some freaky shit going on.
Yeah.
Why not? Like, it can't hurt.
Right.
All the stops or whatever they say. Pull them out. I don't know what I'm saying. But a priest, played by J. Patrick McNamara, asks how long it's been since his last confession, and he says that it's been a long time. He says that after his father was shot, he and the Lord had a sort of parting of the ways. He didn't understand how his dad, who never did anything to anyone, could be taken away like that. He says that his mother, however, never stopped praying and says that his dad's death was God's will. But he says that he feels like he's going crazy and needs answers. Can spirits of the dead return and take over the bodies of the living? The priest tells him that possession is real, and Logan asks how they can be stopped.
It made me laugh a little bit because he's like, and I've seen a lot of dead bodies. I'm like, you should probably say you're a cop or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what all are we confessing to right now?
Yeah, he never said.
No.
The priest says before he can answer that, he has to ask a question of his own. Logan asks what it is, and suddenly the priest is now Channing, who asks, "How's the stomach, buddy boy?"
You son of a bitch, I knew it. No moment of peace.
No.
I never
I
have a
love
moment
it. He was fucking with them the whole time.
The entire
I bet
time.
you feel stupid, don't you?
What? I don't get. He laughs at obviously tricking him.
Yeah.
But a knife sails through that window and into the wall, and I'm like, he can do that too?
Yeah.
Like,
really?
powers are.
Again.
Yeah.
What are the rules? I'm confused.
I will admit, I was up very late writing the script, and when the priest had the question and then he turns and it's Channing and he's like, "How's the stomach, buddy boy?" I got chills. I don't know.
Honestly, it's giving Pennywise.
Yes.
Or even
no
or
joke.
even Freddy. But
Yeah.
like this, I don't know. It's the playfulness, you didn't have to do all that. This man just poured his heart out
Yeah, he did.
about his
Yes, he
childhood,
did.
his origin story. You did not need to do all that just to be like, nah, stomach, blah.
But the second I felt the chill, I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
You're like, you need to
And
take
I
a nap.
laughed. I was like, "Go to bed. Go to bed. Turn it off. Go to bed." But Logan jumps out of the booth, gun in hand. But when he searches, he finds the other booth empty. But he hears strange voices calling out to him, and he looks at the pulpit and sees Channing standing there in a priest outfit mocking the Jesus Christ pose.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
He's having a blast.
Oh, no.
Oh, he is.
Like, it really seems like death becomes him. He's really just doing the best he can with it.
So this part made no sense to me because he sees that Channing is on the pulpit.
Right.
But he rounds the corner with his
Yes.
gun and he points it at a woman kneeling and praying in a pew.
Yeah, I feel like he can't make a good decision really to save his life.
No. She, of course, promptly leaves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But behind him, Channing slowly approaches, but then in a single bound, he leaps over Logan's head, sailing feet first through a stained glass window.
He wanted to show him his new parkour abilities.
You think you're the shit?
He's like, I've been learning.
Yeah.
This is the second power.
I laughed so hard because why?
I have no idea.
Why did you do
Well, he overshot it.
He did. He's like, oh, shit. I will admit that this is the first inkling of, okay. where the movie started to turn a little bit for me because I was like, that was not necessary at all.
Just, like I said earlier, wild. Just for the sake of being wild. There was literally no reason.
None.
There's a reason. We just missed it.
I guess.
It's our fault.
We capture this jump through like 3 angles too, which only makes it funnier. But Logan jumps through the window, chasing after Channing through the street and into the Baltimore hotel. He walks through a crowd of people seated and waiting, stopping to stare at an unkempt man played by Ron J. Goodman before heading upstairs.
I was just like, please don't pull your gun on any of these people.
It's just, I assumed he would. I was surprised he didn't. But he makes his way through the halls, but is startled when Tess pops up out of nowhere shouting his name. A nearby door is kicked open and we see Channing plant an axe into Logan's head.
It's a lot.
I was like, oh,
I
shit.
was not I'm still giggling about the stained glass jump.
Yeah.
I was not ready for it at all.
Things are moving very quickly. I was like, he's dead? But we immediately cut to Tess, who is in a department store. It was a vision. She shouts Logan's name and drops a bottle of perfume on the ground. It shatters and she runs out, leaving Shop Girl, played by Melanie Shatner, confused at the counter. Yes, this is William Shatner. No.
This is William Shatner?
It's not. You interjecting maybe. I was like, was it Shatner? No.
Was it?
It's William Shatner's daughter.
Oh, how cool.
Like, is that Bill? No.
But she's like, bitch, you need to pay for this.
Yeah.
And we know you have money. Like,
We've
just
seen your
throw some-
fucking house.
just throw a couple at her. Like, don't do that.
This is
Throw
going
a
to come out of
couple at
her paycheck.
Exactly.
Because you're like, oh, I got to save a man's life.
Well, who gives a
Fucking
fuck?
priorities.
Pay for this perfume.
Who's paying for that?
Why were you out shopping? Shouldn't you be talking to a lawyer?
Yeah. But no, the lawyer's like, no, you're going to make a lot of fucking money. Go out. Treat
Spend some
yourself.
money, yeah.
But we see Logan enter the Baltimore hotel once again, asking desk clerk, played by R. David Stevens, where the priest who ran in here went. The clerk has no idea what he's talking about, but the unkempt man from before points upstairs. Again, I don't know how he knows this.
Me neither.
But the desk clerk doesn't. Again, indigo prophecy. Right?
You're absolutely right.
Like, they are just sniping everything.
I just remembered what's about to happen, and I have to wonder if this is the stop that you got off.
I will tell you when I pull the cord. But Logan heads up. Tess arrives at the hotel as well in a taxi, rushing inside, but also stopping to stare at the unkempt man before running upstairs. I'm like, what is everybody's...
Yeah.
If you think that that's going to come back into play.
Nah. Sorry to say.
Maybe he's got some ability or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
He like
it's
gives
not
him
as...
a silent nod. It's like, good job.
They're talking like Dr. Sleep.
But she calls out to Logan exactly like she did in her vision, and Channing, wearing his mask, busts out the same door, swinging his axe, but this time it misses Logan. Now,
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, because everything went exactly the same. So
I was like, when you have tried a different tactic because he got his head split when you just called his name the first time.
Maybe try to tackle him, but instead she's like, I'm going to do the exact same thing and just hope for a different result.
Maybe she just needed to get there that second earlier.
Maybe. It was just enough.
I mean? Yeah.
Just the time it took to break the perfume bottle. That's
yes.
There you go.
If she had set it down, he'd be dead right now.
No, if she had paid for it. But Tess suddenly has a large silver coin with a pentagram on it. She shows it to Channing, who reacts as if in a trance. Now, there is this moment. It's a dream that Klaus has on American Dad, where he's like in a movie with Francine, and they're fucking like sliding through a thing. Vampires are chasing them, and then he's like, they're after this amulet, which had never been established. And that's exactly how I felt here, because not at any point.
I thought I missed something.
No, there has never been a mention of a coin that can distract the devil or anything like that. But Channing's like, oh. I'm like, what?
He's doing the finish him.
Yeah.
I just took it as she's a psychic. Maybe she kind of was like, I got to protect myself.
There's got to be
somehow.
something.
I love that in most films you demand really perfection out of everybody. This, you're like, no, I'll fill in the gaps.
Yeah. I know what's happening.
Yeah.
It's all right.
He's like, no, you didn't read the novelization. When Channing was a kid.
That's on you, honestly.
Well,
he had a coin. But this is when Channing breaks out of the trance. He jumps up, he rips a fan from the ceiling, and somehow starts it up like a chainsaw.
Listen, we live in Texas. I would love my ceiling fan to go as fast as a helicopter blade.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I don't, how is this happening?
I don't know.
well, he's a demon. He's
possessed
possessed.
the blade.
Yeah, he's a demon now.
Well,
that coin only gave him more power.
yeah. Is the first power the power of electricity?
Yes.
Because somehow, well, he did work at the water and power plant.
He did.
He learned a few things.
He fucking harnessed it. He's Electro.
He's like Tony Stark. He's got the thing in his chest.
Yeah, he just plugs it in.
This in my mind is when you're like, okay, this is when I was like, I see what you are now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get what we're doing here.
You've made a dramatic shift. Okay.
Yes.
I have not pulled the cord, but the driver is aware of my presence. I will let you know when I've pulled the cord.
For me, this only makes it better.
Really?
I can absolutely see that.
I get it.
This is your vibe. I can totally see it.
What's more terrifying than that? Oh, I'm going to kill you with the fan now. Oh, shit, it's on.
Honestly, all he's succeeding in doing is making them cooler.
It's like, thank you.
Like, dude,
well, I mean, you're right. It's like, it's fucking hot.
Yeah, it's a heat wave. There's been blackouts.
Can you just wait before you kill us? Stay there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Ooh, that feels nice.
Yeah.
Feels real nice. But Channing stalks the halls toward Logan and Tess, Logan firing his gun at the fan, which is apparently bulletproof now.
Pew. I'm like, why didn't it go back and shoot them? That's what I was kind of expecting.
Why didn't it go through the fan? That's what I was
It's going as fast as... Are you not paying attention?
Apparently not. Apparently not. But eventually, Logan and Tess seek refuge in one of the hotel rooms, locking themselves in and barricading the door with a bed that contains a sleeping man.
Did you pull the cord?
Not just yet. They head out the window and down the fire escape, but Channing busts through the door, leaping over the man who barely mutters a, "What the fuck?" In the alley, Logan and Tess commandeer a car from Driver, played by Robert Resnikoff. Driver tells them that he's not one of those anti-cop types, and if they need some help with some creep, but Tess is like, shut the fuck up. And we see Channing leap from the fire escape, clearly seeing the wires that are lowering him.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
See, I don't know why. This is the type of shit that I love.
But he crashes down through the windshield of the car. He bats Logan's gun away, but Logan, who is seated in the driver's seat, somehow kicks him in the face.
Yeah. He's not using that leg to drive.
They speed down the alley with Channing clinging to the hood, and they crash into and through a garbage truck, Channing being thrown from the vehicle, but coming out unscathed, standing up and taking off his mask. This is when I... This is when I pulled the cord.
This is what this is what I'm talking about with the tonal shifts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Him getting fucking blasted in the head with that axe was very jarring. I was like, I genuinely wasn't expecting it. Then we got fucking helicopter fans. We have this this amulet that we don't know what the fuck it is. We're jumping on wires. We're commandeering cars. We're
from
crashing
a very
them.
pro
We're
police.
flying.
Yeah.
Like
This is
he's like, steal my car, take my wife. It's like, what the fuck is your problem?
this is wild. This is when I'm like, what? I finally found what this film is, I think, in this scene, because it is the shift is very jarring.
I think this is when I realized I was like, oh, this isn't the movie I thought it was. Because again, you read a synopsis, you're like, this is gonna be dark and gritty.
Yeah.
And then he's like starting up a fucking ceiling fan, and they're like, oh no, we gotta run from a ceiling fan.
I'm not putting my hand in there.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And this is when I realized just how much it was.
Yeah.
But Logan and Tess get out of the incredibly damaged car, Logan giving a card to the driver and telling him to ask for Detective Grimes, who will pay for the damages personally.
Well, I mean, I guess that's like a fuck you to Grimes because he took the case over.
Yeah.
But as soon as they stopped, I was like, y'all are going to pay for this, right?
One would hope.
Yeah.
I feel like Logan just leaves a path of destruction and really just takes no accountability for anything.
Yeah.
But the driver's like, anytime, officer.
Yeah.
And then he shifts gears to drive away, and we just hear like mechanical nightmare.
He's like, can I lick your boot one more time?
Yeah, please. No. It's a lot. This is when I literally wrote in my notes, I said, I feel like the script is confused. Because that was the sitcom moment where he's like, clank, clank. And it's like, oh my God.
So was the man on the bed.
That is, well, yeah.
I feel like
the only way it could have been worse
necessary.
is if he had a sleeping cap on.
No, that would have made it better.
That's the only way that I think I would have pulled the cord sooner. But I was like, what is even happening? Isn't he like a fucking serial killer? But it's fine. Logan and Tess walk away, Logan trying to thank her for saving his life, but getting annoyed when Tess keeps finishing his sentences.
This is why you got dumped.
Yeah.
That's me.
I'm just saying, isn't that what he said?
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, that message. I probably should stop doing that. But they stop in front of a street vendor played by Gokul, and Logan asks Tess to explain to him one more time what's going on here. Tess tries to, even though she barely understands it herself. Channing is a spirit now, and aside from the mind games and hallucinations, a spirit can't do anything in the physical world without a body, hence all the possession. Now, I don't know if this is for the people in the audience that aren't keeping up.
Yeah.
Because we know this already.
Yeah, okay, I knew that. My thing, I think she explains in a moment. First of all, why did we stop and have this conversation in front of this man who's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's literally...
Yeah.
Anyway, my thing was, why do they all look like him?
That's a great question.
Had possessed the man that he framed for Carmen's death.
Right.
And that didn't look like him.
Hey, Carla's the name of the cop in Indigo Prophecy. So that's probably why you said it.
And then Lucas.
Yes, I mean...
Logan, Lucas.
Oh, come on, dude.
Okay, anyway.
This is too much.
My question was, why do they all look like him? Mm-hmm. And she does kind of explain it in a minute. I think because they're like, no, Jeff Kober is awesome. But she has also an explanation for it.
Mm-hmm. And then I think it's funny because they're like, why does it always look like him? But sometimes it doesn't.
Well, she explains.
She does. I will admit that. But the vendor does look at them like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Logan says that Tess has recently just gotten out of the hospital. And the vendor says, well, she should probably be put back in.
Mental illness?
Yeah, it's the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, dude.
But Logan and Tess walk away, but Logan is still confused. Possession or no, he saw Channing, so what's up with that?
Right.
Tess says that that's Channing's game. He can show himself or he can hide. It's dealer's choice. Logan asks what he should do, but Tess admits that it's a little above her pay grade, but she does know a woman who might be able to help them.
This annoyed me because she was like, I just give relationship advice. Bitch, you said when you went to the police station that you helped find a missing child.
Yeah.
You tracked down the fucking pentagram kill. You don't just...
No.
That like annoyed me because we already know that that's not true.
You're downplaying things you've already established.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't help the cops do it. She was helping him, giving him tips.
That's how
I know.
they would not have
but
caught
I'm
him that night.
But she's not on their payroll. They didn't
No,
call her
but
in.
I
She's
feel
like,
like
hey, look, you're the lead detective on it. I'm going to try to help you out.
She
I don't
really
like this.
undersold her abilities. That's all.
And
I'm
that's
saying.
better than, I mean, that's much more in line with what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
So to just say, nah, I just give relationship advice. No, you don't.
No.
Yeah.
And you're doing some. You're helping the mob or some shit. I saw your house.
Yeah.
The mob.
I don't know
fuck.
what you're doing,
Well,
but
be careful. The mob still exists.
I mean, the mob squad. I don't know.
What the fuck is that? We're sorry.
Cut that.
But sometime later, the two arrive at a massive compound, ringing the doorbell.
Moby. She helps Moby.
That's the best you got? She helped Mob Deep.
That's it.
But a nun played by Lynn Marta answers.
When they pulled up to the house, I guess it's a convent, but I was
Yeah.
like, is this Michael's house from GTA 5?
No shit.
It looked just like it
Well,
to
they're
me.
sniping from other video
Yeah.
games. Or, I'm sorry, other video games
exactly.
are sniping from them.
Yeah.
But Tess asks for Sister Marguerite, you know, from the beginning of the film.
Right.
But the nun says that she doesn't see visitors. Logan flashes his badge, but it has no effect.
They're like, oh, she hates cops.
Yeah, like, that's even worse. So, but Tess offers that it's an important spiritual matter, which the nun finds to be more important, and goes to find Sister Marguerite. Tess is surprised that Logan didn't pull his gun, which frankly I am too.
Yeah. See, I'm at least glad she's like, come on, we know
You're doing a
Yeah,
lot.
like you need to calm down.
Yeah.
But the nun leads the pair inside and down a flight of stairs through a corridor. She knocks on a door in the hall, which Sister Marguerite answers. Tess says that they need her help and asks what she knows about the first power. Sister Marguerite says that the church doesn't allow them to discuss that, but Logan says, no disrespect, he doesn't care how the church feels, which, yeah.
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 And in all fairness, the church was being dicks to you earlier.
They
Yeah.
were.
Let's circumvent the church.
Yeah.
But he says people are being killed, which is kind of important. So Sister Marguerite, unfortunately, says to forget about the first power. It's not something to be played with. She closes the door, so Logan and Tess just leave.
She said, my name is Paul, and this shit's between y'all. She really closed the door
She
in their
did.
face.
What's weird to me as well is it's never established how Tess knows Sister Marguerite.
Yeah.
It is not.
Yeah.
There's so much being thrown at me. I didn't even think of that. My thing though is like at the beginning, you're pleading with these fucking dudes to listen to what you're saying.
Yeah.
These people come and they're like, hey, we believe what you're saying. Get out.
Well,
Yeah.
she was told.
I don't understand. No,
yeah, but still,
no.
I'd be like, you guys know too? Or you guys see it
Yeah.
too? But she's
just
like, get
"Mm-mm,
lost.
Closed. The door is closed.
But in the car, Logan and Tess engage in some oddly lighthearted banter for what's been going on.
Yes.
But they pull over at a bar when Tess says that she's thirsty.
Well, this whole like playful,
Yeah.
because she's like, oh, you've said you need it as a drink. Well, pull over. I'm thirsty. I was
Yeah.
like, are y'all gonna have sex in there? I was like,
In
what
there.
are we leading to? Like, your partner was just probably murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that we're trying to canonically shift it to Ollie living, but Ollie probably didn't live. Your other partner that you had trailing this woman was just ritualistically murdered on the bridge. You guys are very fucking calm. Like,
Yes.
and then the fucking chase, you guys got attacked with the helicopter fan. I'm just, you guys are way too chill for what's going on. We do not have time to stop and get a drink. That's not what this is.
And for the passage of time, that was probably like half an hour ago.
Yeah. See?
But I'm like, are we trying to shoehorn in this romantic subplot? Like, what are we doing?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Tess is
it
so
was
quirky.
A little weird. It was a little
no,
weird.
it did not work for me. But we did see somebody interesting at the bar.
Yes,
so
we
I
did.
will allow it.
So see, we needed this.
But at the bar, she orders both of them a scotch, and Logan is like, you should have told me that these were the kind of spirits you were looking for.
Nah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Is he me?
I think you got me back. Only
Are
momentarily.
you getting back on the bus?
I'm at the bus stop. But Tess downs her shot and asks the bartender, played by Bill Moseley.
Bill fucking Moseley.
Yes, in
I
the
did
smallest.
a double take. Yes, because this is it.
Yeah, that's it.
But she asks him for another one. She calls him McGuire, and as he goes, I ain't McGuire. I don't know what's going on here.
The sign, it's McGuire's bar.
Oh, okay.
The thing behind him said McGuire. So it's like a, I don't know.
Kaiser
I was like,
Soze?
it was weird. I'm like, is this like dialogue from Jennifer's Body or something? Like, I don't know. It just, or Juno.
Yeah.
It felt very like, oh, see here. Blah, blah. Like, this girl's got moxie. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I was like, this shouldn't be happening right now.
I will say, because she's like, well, this bottle must have been under a pipe because it tastes like a goddamn Perrier.
Yeah.
And Logan's like, oh, shit. He was very impressed.
Oh, you're a drunk? Oh, fuck.
But she just takes the bottle to pour for herself, which also impresses Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but they do not pay for this drink.
No, they don't.
Or the bottle that she just fucking took from the bartender.
Well, he's like, I'm not McGuire.
I don't give a
Take
fuck.
whatever the fuck you want. I literally wrote in my notes, is like, is this a 90s reference I don't get?
Yeah.
Or was McGuire a really famous bartender? Or- like, I was so confused, but thank you for clearing that up.
He's like, I'm McGuire, and I'm here to do McGuire's work.
Well, that's kind of his thing. I'm fucking Willy Wonka or whatever.
I'm Moses Black.
But the two sit down in an adjacent room, Logan telling Tess that she drinks like a vice cop and it's going to fuck with her vibes.
She had one drink.
Yeah. He's like, slow down. It's like, what? But she says that she's trying to get through to him, but he's got like a shell around him. She tells him that it started in a place like this. It was two guys in ski masks and his old man by himself closing up the bar. Logan tenses up and gets up to leave, but Tess tells him that his dad died for no reason, and that caused him to not believe in anything, but he has to believe in something. But it can't be vengeance because that would make him just like Channing.
Become wrath.
Yeah. What's in the box? What's in the bottle? But she puts her hand on his heart and says that he has to believe in this. Logan isn't about it.
He did not like that.
Not at all. He asks if she always talks this much and says it's no wonder her boyfriend left her.
That was petty.
He's
Yeah.
got to chill.
That was,
does.
that was a real. She came at him so calm and understanding, and he's like, "Fuck you. That's why you got dumped." It's like, whoa.
Tess says that the guy on the answering machine wasn't her boyfriend. They just went out a couple of times. Logan's like, it's amazing that it lasted that long.
Captain Petty.
Yeah.
Tess storms out of the bar.
And then again, we're just not gonna pay Bill Moseley.
No,
Yeah.
we're not doing any
It's
of that.
fine.
Logan follows her out, apologizing for being an asshole, but he's laughing the whole time.
He's like, that was good.
Yeah.
That was a callback.
He's like, I shouldn't have said that. But Tess says that her problem is that she can tell everyone else what to do with their lives, but hers is a total wreck.
She's so quirky.
I know. But it's like, this feels like a trailer for a rom-com.
It does.
Yeah.
She's
That's
a busy businesswoman. I've got business to do. I have no time for love.
The only thing she can't manage is her love life. But it's just, that's why I'm saying we're really shoehorning this in, because this, and I'm a sucker for whatever. I watch
Yeah.
Love Actually every year.
Right.
This is not, it does not fit here. Like this, it's not doing it for me, because you guys, this is a dire situation.
Yeah, dude. Real shit's happening. But they're like, this psychic has all the answers. But the
Except
one
one.
answer. Yeah. The question of the heart or whatever. I don't know. We're still in the pre-production phase. But they get into Logan's car and Tess says that they have to go to Channing's house. Logan says that he knows he's returned from the grave, but does she really think that he's moved back in? It's the 90s. But regardless, they arrive at Channing's house and knock on the door.
I was like, what if he answered?
Yeah. He's like, yes, sir? Just gasp. Honestly, at this point, I was like, he has a twin brother, and he's,
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
really, I don't trust anyone, especially on his turf,
Uh-huh.
because like, this could be a Mrs. Kirsch situation.
Yeah, no shit.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't trust if he's like, I can possess people, but you can only see me when I want you.
Yeah,
You know
dude.
what I mean?
He's got his own rules.
Anybody.
Yeah.
He's Bill Mosley.
That
like,
tea,
you don't know.
That tea was shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you guys recall. But grandmother, played by Juliana McCarthy, answers the door. Logan lies, saying that they're from the paper and that the recent killings could actually prove Channing was innocent and they'd love to talk to her. She lets them inside.
Yeah, she's like, oh no, he did that shit.
Yeah.
And if it's happening again, he's doing it beyond the grave.
I had a problem immediately because Logan's been fucking twerking on television all day.
Yeah.
Fucking, you know, about the death penalty.
Yeah.
That's my next note. They literally had the press at the courthouse. They had it at the sentencing.
Yeah,
they had him.
They had him and your grandson face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. And you know he was at the trial. I'm like, immediately I would have been like, you're the fucking detective that, you know, whatever. You're the
He
reason
was at the weigh-in. That's like a
He was the
UFC. They were
Yeah.
looking at
You
each other.
gave
He's
him the
fucking
death
flexing and Dana White has to pull him apart.
But yeah, that bothered me. And she mentioned something about cataracts, and I'm like, that's not enough to
No.
undo.
Good
It's
try.
just not.
But grandmother invites them to sit down on the plastic-covered furniture, but asks why they think Channing is innocent now after all they've already printed. Logan says that they want to get the story right. But we see Tess pick up a photo, which grandmother says is a picture of her husband, Lewis. We never see the photo, which I think is a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll explain in just a second.
It should have been Channing.
But she says that the good always die young and points out a photo of her daughter, Sarah, Channing's mother, who died when he was 7. Logan asks, what about Channing's father, who it turns out he never knew? Logan is like, oh yeah, that's right. He was illegitimate, wasn't he?
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
I don't know what he's
Who
doing.
says that? Who cares?
Grandmother snaps.
Well, yeah, now you done pissed her off.
Yeah, she's like, he was not illegitimate. But she says that he was very much loved, especially by Lewis. But she takes them to Channing's old room to show them a different side of him.
There's pentagrams all over the walls.
Like, well, I guess you already know this side. It's located kind of outside,
Yeah.
either in an adjoining structure or the
Barn?
basement or a
Yeah.
barn. I don't really know what's going on.
Honestly, when Tess said, we're going to go to his house,
Uh-huh.
I thought they were going to break into the place where he was living when all of this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did I.
Then an old lady answers the door. So I'm like, okay, he lived with his mother.
Uh-huh.
Then she's his grandmother.
Yeah.
Then we're going to his, I'm like, oh, so it's like a little off apartment or
Yeah.
guest house or something. And then when they go inside, it's a child's room.
Yeah.
All of it is very confusing. So I'm like, was he living here in his child room?
Yeah.
Or did he not live here and we're going back
to his
to his
childhood.
origin story?
Yeah.
All of it was very confusing to me.
But the way that she makes it seem is that this was just his childhood room.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I'm like,
So we're not going to Channing's house. We're
No,
going to his
just-
grandmother's
yeah,
house.
yeah.
Like it's all. I was really confused.
yes. But the room does look fit for a child with
Yes.
toys, a rocking horse, and of course, a painting of a Victorian clown hung over the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna turn anybody into a serial killer. I get it, honestly.
That's not standard in every child's room. But grandmother says to tell the world what a good boy he was. He was not a killer. As Tess walks around the room, she hears distorted voices and a music box. She then opens up the music box on his nightstand, which gets grandmother's attention. Tess says that he came in here at night, drunk. She begins to cry, channeling the voice of a young child and implying abuse from Lewis. Grandmother says that they need to leave now. Logan says that she saw it happen and let it happen. And in an awful, disgusting turn of events, Logan posits that Channing's father was his grandfather, Lewis.
Horrific.
Yeah.
I did not see this coming.
No.
I mean, until Tess was doing her performance or whatever.
yeah.
And I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh no.
I will admit that I feel like it's incredibly unnecessary.
It is because, I mean, aside off the top of my head anyway, from one line later,
Yeah.
it doesn't come
Really?
into play at all.
Yeah.
I think that we're really trying to force this villain origin story.
Right.
And we talk a lot about like how film can really set a narrative.
Uh-huh.
And there are people born of incest, unfortunately, people who suffered abuse as children that are not serial killers.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is kind of dangerous just to kind of sprinkle into the mix when you don't have a fully fleshed out story for it.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of almost feels like, why is he evil?
Well,
this is why.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
no, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to call it lazy. I feel like it's an interesting twist. I just wish it was fleshed out more.
Right,
Maybe
right.
handled a little more carefully, because it kind of feels like QA. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I
No,
don't,
that's not.
that doesn't track for me.
And it's very tropey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a stereotypical. Now, the thing that I had thought that would have made it make more sense as far as like his psyche and how he responded to finding out that news is if we saw a picture of Lewis and it was the mask that he wears as the killer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All
Because
right.
he's like that. It may be his psyche was shattered when he learned the news.
Right.
Yeah.
And then his grandfather is this model. Maybe the grandfather is Satan in his mind.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
don't know. But instead of it just being like, this happened, and she's like, get out.
Yeah.
and then okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's all we're doing here.
Yeah.
But in this moment, grandmother finally recognizes Logan, screaming that eternal damnation is his and he's the real killer, and telling him to burn in hell.
I love that it took this moment of confrontation for her to be like, hey, you're that cop, ain't you?
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Well, it's funny.
What?
She's like, you look like a dick on the TV. So it took him being mean. But Tess runs out of the house, followed closely by Logan, and we see that just off the Channing's property is the water treatment plant where Channing used to work.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's literally, it's right there.
So, like, were you living here or not?
I don't know.
I know that's just a stupid, like, thing to get stuck on, but I'm stuck on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Also, this meeting just did not go as planned.
No,
not
at
at
all.
all. And they
they
will
had
not-
their little cover story and everything.
Yeah, they're not going to
Yeah.
run that story, I don't think. But Logan runs through the sewers and into the dark. He lights his lighter, continuing on until he finds Tess crouched, staring through a pipe. He asks her what she sees, but they're interrupted by Reservoir Worker, played by Grand L. Bush. Logan tells him that he's a cop, but the worker says that they can't stay down here because it isn't safe. He says it's part of the city's old water system, but it got shut down after the big earthquake in 1971. When Tess pulls herself up on a valve, he tells her not to touch anything because the system still works. A kid even drowned here a couple years ago.
I'm sure that this won't come into play
Nah.
later
Yeah.
at all.
No, it'll be fine. But Logan asks if Channing used to come down here, and the worker's like, I don't know anything about that.
Laughed out loud because he's like, who the fuck is Channing?
Yeah. He goes, that was before my time.
Yeah. What? It's like, I
What
just
are you-
fucking work
Yeah,
here,
dude. Can you
Get out. Yeah.
But Tess says that Channing is mad that they're here, but then says that he's laughing and he's going to kill again and again. I'm like, Channing's all over the place.
Yeah.
But she holds out her hands, which appear to have pentagrams carved into them, but then the carvings disappear.
The guard's like, y'all are busy. I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah.
I got a lot of shit to check over here. But the worker leads them out, probably wishing he did skip work today. But the camera glides through a room in the convent where Father Brian catches Sister Marguerite breaking into a cabinet. She says that people came to her for her help and she turned them away. Father Brian says that that's no excuse to steal a sacred church icon, but Sister Marguerite says that she's using it for its intended purpose. She believes Satan has given one of his disciples the first power.
Roll credits.
Yeah. Father Brian is like, resurrection? But she snags a wooden case with a golden crucifix on the front. He doesn't stop her, and he just says that he'll pray for her before she leaves.
This man
Yeah.
really said, well, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, seriously. Hashtag.
Is he a senator?
Maybe. I think that they learn. They all no. Indigo Prophecy copied this. The United States Senate copied this. But Logan and Tess leave the water treatment plant, Tess warning that Channing is going to kill someone close to Logan again, this time near the Santa Monica freeway.
It's like, oh shit, I'm close to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They drive off, but on the way, Logan gets a call that an officer needs assistance. You forget that he's been taken off this case.
Yeah.
And he should be doing other work.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, I gotta keep appearances. But Logan radios in, taking the call. He parks in a rundown part of town, telling Tess to stay in the car as he rushes off with a shotgun. The call comes in again, but suddenly Channing's voice is heard on the radio, and he asks, "You know which officer needs help, don't you, sweet cakes?"
Not sweet cakes.
Now, that's rude. But as if we didn't understand what he was talking about, he goes, "It's Logan."
Yeah.
This obviously frightens Tess, who bails from the car and runs into the building after Logan. But in her search, Logan startles Tess, saying that he told her to stay in the car. She tells him what she heard on the radio, and then somewhere in the building, he hears Channing call out, "Piggy, Piggy." Logan leads the way upstairs, shotgun at the ready, frightened by rats and spooked by shadows and taunts from Channing. Logan even shoots a shadow, which, I mean...
Yeah.
Again, someone take his gun.
Yeah.
Logan follows the voice, but crashes through the floor and falls through.
This made me laugh out loud because I wasn't expecting him to fall through the floor.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that he didn't yell or scream. He just accepted it and fell.
He's like, look, gravity. That's just part of the gig.
He didn't make one
So you
sound.
stand right here? All right.
Yeah, cool. You got it, boss.
It just killed me.
But Tess goes to help him, but runs right into Channing. She tries the coin thing again, but it doesn't work this time.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but he even corrects her, telling her that she's holding it upside down. She says that he can't go on killing forever, but he's not so sure about that.
Well, I'm like, why not? Like, what else is he going to do?
He's got a pretty good
He's
gig.
an undead
no
entity.
shit.
But she runs away from him and then runs right into him again twice. It's actually pretty cool.
It was good.
But Logan finds his way to his feet and spies Channing in pursuit of Tess outside through the window. They rush upstairs outside, and Channing catches up to her, putting his knife to her throat. He kisses her neck, but Logan somehow jumps out. I don't know how he caught up with him so quickly, but he's right there, and he brandishes the shotgun. Channing fucking backflip kicks the gun out of Logan's hands.
Right.
Again,
There was so many
Indigo Prophecy.
so many mistakes made here. I don't know why we're running up to the roof where the guy that we're trying to kill is fine jumping off of roofs
You've
and
learned.
then running away. The one time that Logan has a clear shot at this man that he could not miss, he doesn't shoot and then gets the backflip treatment. All of this should not be happening.
No, but without the shotgun on him, he proceeds to beat the shit out of Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tess whacks him in the face with a piece of steel, and he falls from a great height, crashing through pipes. She helps Logan to his feet, but when they get down to the ground floor, they find Grimes impaled on the spikes, bloody and dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
How are you going to explain this now?
You can't.
Exactly.
What?
Well, you shouldn't be able to,
No.
but hold on. That night, Perkins arrives at the scene, and he isn't buying the story at all. Grimes was an asshole, sure, but he doesn't believe that he was secretly the member of some cult. But despite not believing him at all, Perkins lets Logan and Tess sneak out the back and continue their investigation. He's like, just go out that way.
He needs to be put on administrative leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
The way that he keeps getting chances after being taken off of this case, his case being given to this cop.
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to say.
You're showing up around all these dead bodies, and now this dude that just come on.
He barely, and he took your job.
I don't exactly.
So it makes sense for you to want him dead.
Don't know if this is me really just wanting that glimpse of that bloody room where I really thought this was just going to be a frame job on Logan. I don't know if this is still me clinging to that, but why is it? Why he can't keep getting away with this? I don't understand how they're just like, get out of here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And this fits the frame job perfectly.
Exactly.
He has all the motive in the world, but he's literally like, I need this. And he's like, all right, get
out of
here. It's fucking unbelievable. But Logan and Tess arrive at Logan's place, and before heading inside, Logan gives some money to, and this is her name in the credits, Bag Lady, played by Nada Despotovich.
As soon as I saw her and we have this lingering shot of him giving her money, this bitch is coming back in the
Oh, yeah. There was too much there.
Yes.
But she's asleep on the sidewalk, and they head inside the apartment and try to formulate a plan.
they walk in and Tess looks around like, bitch, you live like this?
Yeah. He's like, the maid's off today.
Yeah.
It's like, no, she's not.
Your cat is
was
eating
pizza right now. And I forgot to mention that whenever the cat was eating pizza, there were flies on the pizza at the beginning.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But Logan brings out a box full of grenades and explosives, saying that his friend on the bomb squad gave them to him for a rainy day, basically saying that he's going to explode whoever Channing tries to send their way.
So
what the fuck is this police? Well, it's the LAPD.
Yeah,
so we already
you took the sad evidence.
Yes.
You know what you did.
Yeah.
We've already established that when Channing possesses someone, their body that he possessed has real world consequences.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grimes is dead.
He is.
Why do you, first of all, why do you just have this box?
Yeah.
I'm concerned about that right off the rip. Secondly, whoever that you try to explode that Channing is possessing, you're murdering them.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even necessarily mean you're getting Channing because he's already survived a physical body being killed before.
Also true.
Third,
Yes.
you guys probably really think this box is going to come back into play, don't you? No.
There's not one grenade thrown. Well, because it makes me laugh because she's not down for the plan, and he's like, well, then what's your idea?
Well, then I will put this away.
Yeah, and we'll never see it again.
He was just showing you how extreme he is.
Yeah, he's like, aren't I cool,
Right?
Tess?
You see
This
the
dude's a
parkour.
badass.
I
Yeah.
got bombs.
Want to make out? Or? But Tess tells him that Channing used Grimes's alcoholism to get to him, just like he used the drug addiction of the others to possess them. She says that they have less of a hold on reality, so it's easier to get to their psyche.
I'm here with that. Like, I can kind of see that.
I see why they're using that. It's just, I just feel like it's somehow offensive. Like,
I'm sure
Yeah.
that it's offensive. Also, how does Tess know this?
she doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't know it at all.
Because she was like, you said he was an alcoholic? Yep, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. That makes sense. Open and check case.
Cite your sources. Tess.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
She points to her head.
Well, he told her earlier she drinks more than a cop on the Vice Squad.
He did say that.
After she had one drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are they all sober on the Vice
Yeah,
Squad?
I don't know.
But she doesn't know how to stop Channing because he keeps getting stronger and stronger. This is when Logan holds her face, and then one thing becomes the inevitable.
Yeah, we knew.
Yeah,
We've been new.
from her first phone call. I'm like, they're gonna make out.
Yeah.
Well, I thought more.
In my notes, I had get it in, but I didn't say that because they don't get it in.
No,
Yeah.
they do start to make out a little bit,
Right.
but their makeout sesh is interrupted by loud metal clanking noises. Logan goes to check it out, but when he walks away, the lady from the street flies up, hovering outside the window like it's Salem's Lot.
I knew it. Yeah, I knew it.
She twists in the wind like it's some kind of trick,
Yeah.
and then she descends. She goes back down before Logan can see. It's like, why are you doing that?
Channing just wants to watch.
Yeah.
This is another situation where it's like 99.9% of the time he's like, nah, bitch, it's me. This is my face.
Yeah.
I'm the one doing it. Why now?
I don't know. After all...
It's just weird.
But Tess tells Logan what happened, and when he tries to tell her that there's nothing out there, the lady crashes through the window and with a series of flips and acrobatics, kicks the shit out of Logan.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably why they kept it this actress.
Oh, yeah.
Because she fucking
Yeah.
is doing the damn
no,
thing.
yeah.
Doesn't she say something like, aren't I cute now?
Yeah.
Or something? It's like, what is happening? But she's very obviously possessed by Channing, and she taunts the both of them. When they rush out of the apartment, the lady says it's like hide and seek, and she's it, so she'll count to 10. But she begins the count, and Logan and Tess just get into his car and speed away.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you do?
Yeah.
I guess I don't even have a house anymore.
No,
Yeah.
that's
But
it.
I feel like this entire time that Channing is within this woman, she's having the fucking time of her
Oh,
life.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
This is the greatest moment.
it's
Yeah.
just so much fun.
Unfortunately, the lady pops up in the back seat, stealing a kiss from Logan. It's, again, Pennywise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiss me, fat boy.
Yeah.
But it's also on some Bugs Bunny shit in a weird way. Like kissing your enemy or whatever.
Or the mob.
Or the
Yeah.
mob.
Moby.
Yeah, mob peep.
Mob team.
But she hops into his lap, steering the car wildly. But then she steers into the ramp of a truck, flipping the car dramatically through the air.
It's funny because she's making little comments and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she's like, ooh, a big truck.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
like,
then the car fucking dramatically flips.
Yeah, I was like, that was where the part of that $10 million went, I think.
Yeah, they got fucked.
They did. Logan wakes up covered in blood in the wreck of his car, and Tess is nowhere in sight. Logan heads back to Sister Marguerite. How? I don't know. He walked taxi?
I don't know either. And it was also funny to me because people had crowded around this wreck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And nobody says a fucking word to him. The way that this car flipped, he should not be moving. He
No.
should not
Yeah.
be getting out. And they're just like, oh, like they're
guess,
just looking at him.
I guess he's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
But Logan tells her that Channing has Tess, and he isn't leaving until she tells him how to find her. Sister Marguerite tells him that he has no idea what he'll be facing, but he says he doesn't care. She lets him inside and says that Channing has taken Tess to the dark place where he performs his rituals. Logan knows where that is because Tess felt it, he says, but he really doesn't know where that is exactly. She stared into a pipe and she's like, I feel weird. And that guy's like, get out of here. And then I guess he's like, that's where Channing does his shit. I don't know how. But Logan asks how to stop him. Sister Marguerite says it won't just be stopping him. It'll be stopping someone who has the first power.
It's like, you keep saying
Yeah.
that, and I don't know what that means.
She says that God and the devil have the ability to give 3 powers. The third, not sure why she's working backwards, the third is the ability of possession.
Because the first power is the big reveal.
Yeah.
But
she
we
knows
already-
how to tell a story.
Yeah.
But I think we already know what it is because dude fucking said it to her earlier. But the second power is a psychic ability, which Tess has. But the first power is resurrection and immortality,
Right.
which we've already established.
Yeah.
But Logan doesn't understand, but he says that he has to help Tess. Sister Marguerite says that there's only one way through the only soul in history who had all 3 powers. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say Chris Angel.
Oh, I didn't see levitation on here.
Yeah.
Chris Angel was the second. That's the fourth power.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
But she opens up the wooden box that she snagged from the cardinal's office, and she takes out a large crucifix. Now, I thought that was it.
Hold
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
But she takes off the lowercase t part and reveals a dagger. Now, this is bordering on parody, I felt.
You know that Sister Marguerite keeps that thing
Yeah.
on. You should have known that from the first scene.
Apparently, the power of Christ compels you.
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck? We got to kill him with that? I was like,
wait,
what?
But so, was that Jesus's?
He
'Cause
kept that
that-
thing on him too?
Yeah.
But it's him. It's his. Not, it's a little drawing, like a sculpture of him.
Yeah.
None of this makes. It doesn't make it. Why'd she even bring him up? I just,
He's killing the evil.
fair. That is fair.
It comes from where the amulet
Yeah.
came from.
It's made of the same steel.
That's fair. It was okay. I'll allow it. But the two head out of the convent and back through the sewers of the water treatment plant. They head down to where the worker told them to leave earlier and find water rushing in. They crawl through a pipe where they hear whispered voices and reach a room where they find Tess on the floor on top of a pentagram and surrounded by candles, much like Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
The lady from before jumps down from the ceiling and attacks Logan, but Sister Marguerite tries to help, only getting stabbed with her own crucifix.
Yeah, she brought nothing to this
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, not even a distraction.
I was
Yeah.
also like, oh, so we're still this lady, huh?
Yeah.
Like this is your home, and
He's like, no, this is a lot of fun.
She can do flips and shit, dude.
I think she was already a gymnast before. But the lady jumps back onto Logan, but he unloads his gun into her head. She collapses dead, and Sister Marguerite blesses her. I guess it wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
I thought Sister Marguerite was dead.
Yeah, so did I.
And then she just hopped
I was
right
like,
back
oh, I
up.
guess that's it. But Logan unshackles Tess, and they then drag the lady to where Tess was shackled, Sister Marguerite lighting the pentagram on fire with a nearby candle.
Super metal. I was annoyed with Tess at this point because Channing in this woman is like Spider-Man posed above the door when Logan and Sister Marguerite come in. You were awake, like you couldn't have warned somebody.
He's like, you better not tell them to look out.
She's like, no, I want to see how this plays out.
Yeah, well, maybe they know. Maybe they got the drop on him. They know he's part spider. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But they crawl out, but Tess still feels Channing's presence. When Sister Marguerite doesn't join them, Logan climbs down to find her collapsed in the tunnel. He offers his hand, and Sister Marguerite thanks him in Channing's voice, pulling him back down into the room and kicking him in the face.
You had to see that coming.
Oh, yeah.
You killed the vessel.
Mm-hmm.
His spirit went into someone else.
Yeah.
Yes.
You and Tess are right here.
Uh-huh.
Who else is there?
Yeah.
I will say, maybe it's just because I love Evil Dead so much.
Right.
I want to see some white eyes when they are fucking,
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair.
when they're Channing. He's a demon
I
now.
will say
Right.
that the lady that he had possessed before, that gave me Evil Dead vibes.
Very much. Because she was having a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't want to say that I would have just left without Sister Marguerite, but
I mean, I just
she
met
died.
her.
She died doing what she loved,
Right.
fighting the devil. What more?
She gave her whole life to
ask for? Exactly.
Yeah. But Logan pulls his gun, and Sister Marguerite says that he wouldn't shoot a nun, and just kicks him in the nuts and takes his gun away from him.
Right.
All right.
My question is, like, it seems like he can just bounce from person to person.
Right.
I wondered why he never quantum leaped into Logan.
Quantum.
Well, yeah. Ziggy
I'm
wouldn't
just-
let him.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I feel like that would fit even more with my framing thing because he could possess him, have him do all these horrible things,
Right.
and then just leave. And it's Logan that did it. That did it. You know what I mean? I feel like I just really want him to frame him. I feel like that would be a better story.
For me, that would have been a much cooler plot line. I would have loved to have seen
frame
that.
him?
Yeah.
Yeah, instead it's just this
know.
weird, like I saw the devil on sight shit. They just fucking fight every time they find each other. I just think it would be more compelling if
Power of Christ.
Yeah.
But exactly. Yeah.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
No, I
think it would be
agree.
a better story.
But after taking a shot to Lou Phillips' diamonds, Logan...
That was good.
Thank you. Logan tells Marguerite to fight Channing and that she can beat him. He says Channing is just a scared little boy and says the first person Channing killed was his grandfather, or should he say, his father.
He's like, man, why are you bringing up old shit?
Yeah.
First of all. Secondly, I'd be like, Sister Marguerite, if you could just give your husband a quick call.
Yeah.
that would help
Yeah,
us
that
out
would,
a lot.
oh my God. Speak into the dagger. Isn't that like a radio?
It might as well be.
Please. But Channing does start to get weaker and he gets very flustered as Marguerite fights him from the inside, finally dropping the gun. Marguerite raises the dagger to her own belly, but then in a flash, she turns into Channing in his prison clothes.
So did Marguerite just blink out of existence?
Dude, I have no idea. I have so many questions about this. Because later there's a shot that makes no sense. But Channing says, "It's just you and me, buddy boy." And the two begin to fight as Tess watches on, not helping.
Yeah.
No.
As they tumble to a lower level, Tess turns the valve to let the water in. An alarm sounds as water rushes in, knocking Channing over.
The flooding thing, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said it was never going to come up.
This was the one thing that did come down.
The one. But he pulls Tess with him as the water rushes them through a tunnel. Logan dives in after them, and it honestly looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The water slide goes on for a good clip, but they crash down onto a metal grate deeper into the sewer, which appears to be situated above a vat of acid. I think this is where the Joker turned into the...
God damn it. I was like, is this the Joker's origin story? Why is there a vat of acid?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Is
I
this
don't know.
A water
Every
treatment
sewer.
plant employees.
Yeah.
Let us
Yes.
know.
Oh, it's our acid vat.
Are we like that close to drinking and bathing in acid? I'm so confused.
I don't know. No, the acid scares the water into being... into being pure. They're like, don't fucking do this. I don't know what... I don't know. Someone who
Into
works
being
there, tell me.
pure. Please let us know.
Yes.
Or is this bullshit? This has to be bullshit.
There can't be a vat of acid.
It was boiling.
It was.
Yeah.
But the dagger falls into Tess's reach, but is quickly knocked through a hole, tumbling out of reach.
The dagger is brought out by water.
It is.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks, water. And then water washes it away.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Damn it, water.
Whose side are you on? I'm going to get that acid on you, motherfucker. But Channing reaches out to her, but Logan dives onto Channing's back. The two tussle on the ground, Logan burning him with his lighter, then throwing him into the acid vat. Logan then drops his lighter into the acid, which explodes because I guess it's very flammable.
Okay.
This is so dangerous, and there's nobody down here watching it.
No,
or anything.
where's the reservoir worker?
No shit.
He's like, you guys got to get the fuck out of here. This is beyond.
But I guess he was right that the solution was an explosion, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, in a weird way. I will say that there's a sticker because they climb down.
Yeah.
There's a sticker on the acid vat that just says dangerous.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which, yeah, clearly. But Logan goes to make his escape with Tess, but a burning Channing leaps out from the acid vat. He knocks them both to the ground, but Logan spies the dagger. He grabs it and goes right for Channing, who turns back into Sister Marguerite. Police rush onto the scene, telling Logan to drop the knife, but Logan stabs her anyway, blue light released from her chest.
Like, no, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Didn't you see Sister Marguerite's deadlights? You know that's...
Yeah, where were you?
I was just fixing to say, how many victims shoot a blue light out of like, because they open fire after he stabbed her.
Yes.
Immediately.
Like, immediately. You don't see a light coming out of this lady? I don't know about you, but if I get shot, a light's not coming out of me.
That's not normal.
Yeah, so, I mean...
But they're just like, yes, this is procedure.
Right, it's killing that lady. Shoot! It's like, dude, there's a light coming out of her.
Yeah,
what the
that was not natural.
No.
Nobody finds this odd.
No.
Yeah.
And also they work with Logan.
Yeah.
So even more confusing.
It's like, I knew he killed Grimes.
Yeah. They're Grimes loyalists.
Yeah.
But they do shoot Logan, but when they rush down, they find Channing's body, the dagger sticking out of it. Where is Sister Marguerite?
Exactly. And they look at him like, well, I'll be damned.
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't have shot him.
Yeah.
You just intended to kill Logan.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're like, huh, interesting.
But sometime later, Tess stands over Logan's hospital bed. I don't know how much time later.
Sometime because we do not know.
No. He's hooked up to oxygen and all sorts of equipment, but she asks for him to come back to her.
You know she's super worried because she did not even crimp her hair before she did it.
Well, how long has it been? I don't know.
Maybe that's out of style.
Yeah, who knows? I have no idea. But he just lies there. But when she turns away, he grabs her as if he's possessed by Channing. Tess wakes up in a chair by Logan's bed, and she stares at him fearfully, and we hear Channing's voice say, "See you around, buddy boy." We fade to black. No, we don't fade to black. The fucking picture goes black and white.
Yeah.
Then we fade to black, and the credits roll.
So did she ever just have a bad dream?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think so. It's I guess he's in there. Is what we're to take.
He quantum leaped into, which is what I wanted.
Finally.
It's what I wanted.
Finally. But I have to ask, what did you guys think of the first Power?
I loved it. I mean, I don't think
I knew you would.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was any confusion. It was just, it's also I really like the movie because it's from my childhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that also plays a huge part. But oh no, it's fucking wacky and it's all over and I love it. Like it's great.
I feel like this is another one that I wished I would have seen as a kid because this would have been fucking next level.
Well, him telling him buddy boy. Remember that the whole time. Him coming at him with the fan in the hallway. Remember that the whole a lot of this it stuck with me. And I was like, man, that was fucking terrifying when I was a kid. And seeing it now, yeah, it's a little wacky or whatever, but for me it still holds up. It's a very 90s movie.
Very
yes,
much.
it is.
Very 90s. But it's I don't think, like you said, it's not a it's not an artsy movie. It's not a Hereditary. Or it's not like it's like this is a B horror movie. This is what you're getting. And it's great. I love fucking a lot of this movie. There are parts that are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's okay.
I didn't know going in that it was a B movie.
Neither did I. You really finagled and finessed this onto the schedule. We had no idea. I'd never seen it before, like I said, and I was expecting something completely different. I did not dislike it because I feel like we've talked about other movies where it's just fun,
right?
And it's not taking itself very seriously.
Yeah.
And I kind of get the same vibe here. When you're showing a stuntman's face
full on
and full view with, you know, no regard of even trying to make him look like the character he's supposed to be. That was my first inkling that this is not going to be Seven, but make it Satan. I don't think I'm going to get that. But although that was a source of disappointment, what this is something completely different. It is a good time. I had so much fucking fun sitting here and talking about it. As I was watching it, I was like, oh, we're going to laugh so much this episode.
Yes.
There are parts of the plot that I do enjoy.
Yeah.
There are parts of the plot that make no fucking sense.
Well, yeah.
Right.
There are rules that are established and promptly broken.
Uh-huh.
There are rules that are rules for no reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
The amulet, the dagger.
Yeah.
What does any of this mean? What happened to Sister Marguerite? Is Ollie still alive? I have so
no
many
idea.
questions walking away from this.
Yeah.
But I had fun. And I think that's the main takeaway of this is there were tropes and there were, you know, shit that was telegraphed. There was a forced romantic subplot.
Uh-huh.
You know, but God damn it, when this man jumped hundreds of feet down and ran away like a goddamn cat, I felt like I was 5 years old. I could not believe what I was looking at. This was a lot of fun. Is this a good horror film? I don't think it is. I'm going to be completely honest. But did I have a good time? I did.
Well,
What more can you ask for when you sit down? I mean, maybe a plot that makes sense, but,
Yeah.
but other than that,
That's too much, right?
don't be greedy.
I did not hate this at all.
yeah.
I think my thing is like you're saying with the tone.
Yeah.
I wanted to like it more because I think I was expecting
Yes.
Right.
this gritty,
Yes.
dark. When you hear the premise is a fucking police officer witnesses the execution of a, I guess, satanic cult murderer.
Yeah.
And then the fucking killer comes back to life and is wreaking havoc again.
Yeah.
That, I'm like, oh, shit.
And
Yeah.
I will say, I typically would go in blind
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
we were trying to think of what we were putting on the schedule and you proposed this. We looked because we're like, I've never even heard of that. What's it about? I feel like maybe if I hadn't read that, I would not have ended up being disappointed.
Possibly.
Because I did have expectations going in that were not met.
No.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
And the pictures you see, that mask is creepy.
Yeah.
I would
Although
would have liked for him to have kept it on a little more, but and honestly, that would have worked too if every single person he possesses is wearing that mask.
Yeah.
And then he takes it off and it's a different person.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
creepy.
I
But
feel like they really played fast and loose with a lot
Yeah.
of things that they were trying to establish.
a lot of things.
It all goes back to that coin.
Yeah.
Well,
I would have loved for that to have been explained. But so 90s, this movie.
Very.
For better or worse, good and bad ways. But no, there were definitely parts that I liked. I think that a lot of those parts are overshadowed by just my sheer confusion. Because there were a lot of times that the second it made that turn and I got off the bus, I was like, what is even happening?
What was that movie you were telling us about this morning that has like the same plot?
Yes. Okay, so there's apparently this movie, I want to say it's either 1997 or 98, but it stars Denzel Washington. It's called Fallen. John Goodman's in it.
Yeah.
Love John Goodman.
So many people are in it, but it's basically, from what I'm reading, almost the exact same premise.
Yeah.
But it's more serious.
Okay.
I would be interested in checking that out.
Yeah, me too. I definitely am going to have to watch
Yeah.
that. And we'll compare and contrast. Do you have a fucking chainsaw ceiling fan?
Is that a point off or a point for it?
You know, I don't even fucking know. I don't even know anymore. But I guess that can lead us into ratings. This one is very hard to grade.
It is.
I came here with 2 scores, and I think I'm going to end up in the middle of them. But on the positive side, as ridiculous as he is in this film, Lou Diamond Phillips is a good actor.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's a very likable guy, even though Logan is kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I still want to root for him and see, you know, good things happen.
Yeah.
Even though he is a dick.
yeah.
But I really enjoy the premise. I like the music. I wanted them, because I liked the cinematography at the beginning. I wanted them to stick with that, but then they're just like, nah, we're not going to be a noir film.
There's nothing consistent.
No.
About this film
It's
at
kind
all.
of unbelievable. And I think that leads me to my negatives. It's just so like wildly inconsistent. I don't know how to feel about things. I don't know what they want me to take seriously and what they want me to laugh at.
That's what I'm saying. I laughed so much, and I don't know that I was supposed to.
I don't know.
As much as I did.
I would have loved, I think, honestly, if they had stuck to one tone, maybe. In either one.
Even two tones.
Yeah.
I could live with that.
But there's like 5 things that they're trying to do. But again, like you had said, the romance subplot did not work for me at all because there's really no reason for it. And they really try to force it. And even she's like, what are you doing?
I mean, if you're going to do it, at least work harder at it.
Yeah.
Like it just, it felt forced. Well, we got to have this.
Yeah.
Like that's what it felt like.
They're like, and then they'll kiss. And they go, what?
Yeah.
Why are y'all kissing right now?
Yeah,
He was
even-
just holding a box of grenades.
Which again, never came up. But yeah, we don't know what happens to Sister Marguerite. We don't know what happens to Ollie. So many unanswered questions. The biggest one is how the fuck does Logan still have a job?
Yeah, no shit.
Like he does nothing.
He's
Nothing.
like fucking an Avenger. He
Yeah.
can tear up the city
And just be like, so
Have
long.
a good one.
Yeah.
They need me back at headquarters and fucking. But I don't know, man. I can't say that this is a good film because the plot is so strange and it doesn't even really make sense with itself. It has rules that it breaks. It doesn't reconcile like anything. But there was a lot of fun to be had in a very weird way. So I think that my score is going to have to come down towards the middle because it's like I don't even know what to do with this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But for me, out of 10 demonic delusions, I am going to give the first Power 5.5 demonic delusions out of 10. The weird thing is, this, again, did I enjoy it? Kind of.
Yeah.
Is it a good movie? Not really. But if I did have that childhood, and it's one of those, again, like you said, another one where I'm like, damn it.
That would have been fun.
Because I know I would love this.
Yeah.
I think back to, we would watch it probably in the same vein as we watch, now this is an actually great movie, but Copycat.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we would just have movie marathons with this thing, but we never had that. But I will now open the floor to you guys.
Yeah, for me, no, the movie's great. I love this movie. I understand what's happening. I
understand what's happening.
I know my score does have a lot to do with watching it as a kid, but even watching it, like, I'll go watch it right now. Like, that movie's so fucking crazy and shit's just happening. It is also one of those, don't pay attention, just turn your mind off and watch
think about it.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, now he took the fan. It's like, you know what I mean? And it's no surprise, I love those movies, you know what I mean? And this is right up my alley.
Right up your ass.
Right in there, like with the fans turning and everything. It's just, it does have a lot of problems. There's holes in the story, and even one of my notes is like, y'all didn't have to kiss. Like, you didn't. But I feel like it's just so wacky, and it is that the rough edits or the, you know what I mean? And the jumping around. It's like, I'm like, this is great. It's like, I don't want to get stuck on one thing because then I'm going to be like, okay, I know what's happening. Oh shit, you fooled me. You're back over here again. It's like, you keeping me on my toes all the time. It's like, I don't have a chance to get comfortable. It's like, what the fuck? But I won't lie. I know it's not a stellar movie, and I know it's got a lot of problems, but for me, I enjoy that shit. You know what I mean? It's just there, and it's entertaining, and I'm able to laugh at stupid shit that we shouldn't be laughing at or stuff that's happening. But if you've never seen it, I'd recommend watching it.
For sure. I would too.
And like you said, for people who are like, this movie's fucking trash, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. But I mean, for me, it's, you know, what's one man trash is another man's treasure.
Exactly.
I love it. You know what I mean? And on a scale from 1 to 10 demonic delusions, I'm going to give the first Power an 8.5. I fucking love this shit. This was
way I was leaned forward.
Oh, yeah, no, I love this shit.
I had not counted on that.
Oh, no, yeah. Like I said, I'll go watch it right now and then eat dinner and watch it again after. Like, it's like I said, as a kid watching it, I was like, oh, fuck, you remember all the little things. But then getting older, I'm able to understand more and see it. Like I told your sister, the last time I seen it, I was Ari's age.
Yeah.
So I was 11. You know what I mean? I was a fucking kid. And then now I'm like, oh, I see everything. I am able to identify all the fucking problems.
Of course.
But even that, my mind is still like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I'm Ari's age all over again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? And the parkour, I never paid attention to that as a kid. And then watching it now, I'm like, damn, this fool's jumping all over the fucking place. The love story was, like you said, it was forced. It just was a lot. But being able to fully understand everything, even with the plot holes, I'm still like, oh no, yeah, I'm invested. This is great. Because it is a good premise. You know what I mean?
Very good
it's
premise.
Like, all right. And it's probably done sloppily, but it's, you know what I mean? There's some bread to hold it together. There's something there.
I mean, I already kind of went on my whole spiel. I think the biggest con of this film to me is the plot.
Yeah.
Just like we are presenting these like relics and artifacts and having no explanation. We get no closure on whether characters literally live or die.
Right.
We're just peppering shit in, and then people do some flips, and then we're distracted. But it is a fucking wild ride. I had a lot of fun. And I feel like this would be a fun film to watch in a group.
Oh,
yes,
I watched it alone and was still just fucking laughing. Like, I had so much fun watching this. The twists and turns, and not even like good twists and turns.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, now there's a fucking vat of acid. And we're just supposed to accept it. Like,
the crabs have machine guns. That makes sense.
we are going to make a film about a detective. We are going to ignore police protocol. We are going to ignore the way the judicial system works. We're going to fast track everything to make it feel like this all happened within a day. It's just, and it is bananas. It's fucking next level.
I need to talk to Bob Grogan if he's the technical advisor. What legal system? What
he
the
was telling
fuck?
Stories. He's like, and then I did a fucking backflip, dude.
You did what?
No. The
Put that in
character.
there.
Yeah, the character does it. Sorry,
everyone.
Put that in there, though. No, it was so much fun, and I had even more fun sitting here and talking about it with y'all, because there are aspects to this that are utterly absurd.
Yes.
Like, just
fucking
ridiculous. I think the whole part when they're in the hotel is just, where are the rails? Like, we are so off the rails, I cannot even see them anymore.
Driver, this is my stop.
Understandably. You held on longer than I thought.
Well, because I was like, what are they doing? Are they gonna? No. Yeah. Gone off the rails.
But again, and like I said before, is this a good movie? I don't think that this is a good movie. Would I watch it again?
Probably.
Hell yeah. I absolutely would watch it again. It's almost, now I know that nothing can ever be as good as House.
Right.
But it is almost to that level of, this is so far gone. All I can do is just, like you're supposed to like go limp in a car crash or something. There are some films that it's just like, just fucking go limp. Don't be trying to analyze it or look for hidden meanings or even expect this to make sense. Just fucking go limp and enjoy what's happening. Like, that was this for me. The point where I'm like, I'm not even questioning anymore. I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. Like, was it meant to be?
I don't know.
Probably not, but it was. But all that being said, on a scale from 1 to 10, demonic delusions.
You got it.
Yeah. I'm going to give The First Power 6.5 out of 10. Demonic delusions. I could not make it to 8.
Well, I knew I was going to be the only one at the top.
I couldn't even make it to 7 because really this plot makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
But I genuinely had fun, and I genuinely would watch this again.
Right.
So that has to mean something.
Yeah. And one thing I will say is that if they do make that sequel, I'll see.
I'll be there.
Yeah. I seen a thing where they said even the worst horror movie is better than any other genre of movies.
I think that's...
You know what? Yes.
I think that's true.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
And we'll take a Podmortem field trip when they make the sequel.
Hell yes. Well, that's all from us at Podmortem. What would you rate the first Power, and what should we watch next? Let us know on Twitter at the Podmortem. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook. Be sure to follow each of us on Twitter at TravisMWH, at Blood and Smoke, and at RealStreeter84. Please consider pledging to our Patreon and stay tuned until after the music for a special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, always heed a warning. Ignoring one just might come back to haunt you. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned. We want to give a very special thank you to all of our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Woo! Ow!
Special thank you to Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Guy54, Lala Tamez, Travis and Nisa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Mandy, Jennifer Perez, Pierre Lombard, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ and Angie Bronson, Gabrielle Trevino, Spooky Mom, Andy Teague, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Antonio Huerta, Kimberly Kleindienst, Will Brown, Linda, Sydney Smith, Osvaldo Soto, Jonathan Booth, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rizak, Molly Gerhart, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, William Barry, Brittany Ramatar, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Eden, Jordan Roberts, Dylan, Melissa Sierra, Holly Bryan, Jordan Blevins, Michelle Moore, Liz Heath, Spencer Montalvo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newding, Alexis Roberts, Dan Laveau, Itzy M., Gary Horton, Amanda Aliff, Leisha Olivier, Kate Lamp, Carlos and Sydney, Jessica Hunter, Helena Rudder, Alan Johnston, Nicholas Carter, Mariah, Livy Fun, Mandy M., Scott Troutman, Towton Watson, Mozzie Bear, Brittany G., David Burke, Adrian Stakes, Craig Kowalski, Gary, Beth, Daniel McGinnis, and Nick Spill.
Woo! Yeah.
Thank you all so much.
Got some new ones.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
We appreciate you all so much, and we just want you to know that you give us the power to go on.
Like the film.
Right.
Not the first power,
No,
though.
not resurrection.
No.
Which we learned twice. They made a big fucking deal out of it.
Didn't really come in.
No, not so much. Until next time.